Basically, like you guys were big fans, obviously. So was I when I was growing up. I mean, Eddie Graham and Malenko and Sailor Art Thomas and some of those guys. My dad got a couple of passes. He was buddies with a sports editor, Tampa Times, and they went to lunch. And my dad got a couple of free tickets and brought them home and said, "Hey, Billy, you want some tickets to go to wrestling?" I said, "Wrestling? What the hell's that?" Because I've never watched it on TV. I guess it was about maybe 10, 12 years old. So the tickets sat up on the counter all week, and Tuesday night I started getting itchy, and what the hell is it? And I grabbed the tickets, and I've been a fan ever since.
That's cool. Wow.
So it started off like that, and of course we got real interested in it, wanted to get it. A couple years later, my stepbrother, which is a Cuban assassin, Dave Sierra, Fidel Sierra, he's had so many different gimmicks.
That's your stepbrother?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're actually stepbrothers, so we got into business together. We went, those two free passes were for both of us to go down. So, of course, he grew up to be 285. He's a fucking animal now. Should I cut out the profanity?
No. Totally, whatever.
Okay.
Anything.
So we kept going and loved it. Oh, my God, we wanted to get involved so bad. And we started meeting a couple of the guys, not backstage. They didn't take us right in, but like at the bars and like.
That's how we did it.
Actually, we were like Marks, following the guys around.
How old were you at that time?
I guess I was about 12, 14, 16, 17, 18-ish before we start getting to know, like, the first guys we got to meet was King Curtis, who liked us a lot for some reason, kind of took us under his wing. Rocky Johnson. Mm-hmm. He helped my brother get booked in Dallas. That was his first break, and that was actually my first break, too, because my brother said, "Do you want to go out there with me? I got a job, I'm booked, and I'll tell him you were a referee," which was the truth, because I refereed a few little independent shows there. It was, the opposition shows, they called them then.
Right.
Same basic difference. And he said, "Come out with me and tell them you're a referee, and if they can use you. If they don't, I should be able to make enough money to maintain us both." I said, "Okay, great." And this was in Dallas, Texas, and I had basically never left Tampa Bay,
Right.
The young kid besides on vacation somewhere. Right. So me and him on our own. We left in a Ford Galaxy 500, a 1976 car, and it was, I forgot the exact year. I'll find out for you guys. So we went out there. We drove out to Dallas, and Gary Hart was the booker. So my brother was already booked. They were expecting him to come in on this date and sign papers and get his booking sheet and all that. So I walked into the office with him, sat down, and they introduced each other. And they said, "My little brother is a rep. If you can use him, great. If not, he's going to be here with me traveling around." And so, of course, they had David Manning and Bronco Lubitsch, and there was another guy there, older guy. So the referees were locked up. Oh, actually, there was 4 territories at that time. There was Joe Blanchard.
Right, Southwest Championship Wrestling.
There was Paul Bosch, who only ran Houston, basically. Devon Herricks, and then the Funks ran like Amarillo and Northern Texas and all that. So it was 4 basic territories, right. But they would all interact with each other. Right. Send underneath talent to do TVs. There was 4 different TVs there, basically. So I started riding around, and I met some of the guys. Now this is actually my first time really being involved in the dressing room in NWA, was they called it then. They were all, NWA was the main core, and then everybody else had their little names, but right. They'd all use the same champion and stuff like that. So this was pretty big for me to be involved in the dress. I watched these guys. I was growing up. I hung out with them and stuff, and now I'm right in there. Actually, I wasn't in, but my brother was in. But I was in the dressing room because they accepted me as a referee, and right. I'd get Coke. Say, if I'm going to get a Coke for Harley Race and stuff like that. So I was like a soda boy. I heard Eric Bischoff was too. Right. I heard that. I don't know how true that was, But look at Eric now, right?
Right.
One of the most powerful guys in the business as we speak.
Right.
So we traveled around, and I got to be known to the guys, and I was accepted, and was a yes man, of course. Anything that had to be done, go to the store, just like
right.
So let's see. So we were traveling around quite a bit, and several months went by, and I wasn't working at all. And Funk called the Dallas office up, send 4 guys up to there to do TV. We need them for 3 days, and we'll send them back. Good to get them out of there. Send them 4 days. They would get a payday. So they sent my brother, Tom, Joey Chitwood. This Joey Chitwood's a famous race car driver, stunt guy.
Right. Okay.
And this guy named Tom Laxton took his name and was as Joey Chitwood, or something, just to be affiliated with a stunt guy. And a couple other guys, maybe it was Doug Summers or somebody like that. So they went up there, and I stayed in Dallas. And my brothers told Dory, if you could ever use my brother, he's in Dallas with me. He's a referee. I said, okay. So that they came back, they did their show. About a month later, the Amarillo office calls the Dallas office again. Send me 4 guys. I like that. Patterson, my brother's name was David Patterson. Send Patterson, send Chitwood, send this guy, send that guy, and send Patterson's brother.
Right.
Boy, I was fucking excited. My God, I said,
Yeah.
holy shit, this is my first thing. And I had an oversized referee shirt, had baggy pants, and I had wrestling boots that my brother gave me that was size 12, and I wore a 10. So I get up there. We drove up. We drove up from Dallas to, it was Lubbock, Texas. So this is my first night actually getting paid to be a professional referee. And wouldn't you know it, it's kind of ironic because it was my first night, and now my first pay-per-view. I'm affiliated with the main event, the pay-per-view, right?
Right.
So that relates to Sabu, which relates to the Sheik, which relates to my first night in the business, was the Sheik and Terry Funk in a chain match.
Oh, wow.
The first night in the business.
Oh, wow.
So, and of course, Dory Funk was there. Oliver Humperdinck was there managing different guys, but if they flew in like the Sheik or somebody for that special night, the Sheik would be managed by Oliver Humperdinck. And I didn't know Oliver, but I knew him from Florida, but not real well.
Right.
So I was real excited about it, and they were going over the production of the show that night. It wasn't TV, it was just a live show. And I remember Terry Funk coming up to me and saying basically how the show was going to progress. And can you cut that just for a second?
Yeah.
Because the business is kind of sacred. I broke in that way, so I like to keep it at a bit. Well, us guys is different, but everybody thinks they're smart, but they don't know how it's done. And,
Right. Yeah.
So I'm talking to Terry Funk, and Terry Funk says, I'll probably take a dump. I'll probably do this. He says, you understand? I said, yeah. I didn't understand a word he fucking said. Take a dump. Just take a dump. You know what I mean? Which means take a powder, which means take a scoot, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So he said, you understand? I said, yeah, I'm not going to say no because I look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So I think I was the only referee that night. That's why they called me up, because they were stuck. They were in the spot with no referees. So that's why I was there. So for some reason, I was a fucking genius that night. I was a natural. The time that I've been around the business, a little bit of the opposition shows that I worked, a little bit of the stuff that I seen in the first 4 or 5 months that I was with my brother traveling the loop, watching the guys. I wasn't there reading the book in the dressing room. I was watching the monitor. I was watching the shows. I was listening to how they would go over their matches and their strategies and stuff. So I was a natural. Got up to the main event, and here comes the Sheik and Humperdinck first with a big fucking snake. Who brought it? Who brought the snake? It was a Baby Doll.
Right. Okay.
Wasn't her dad a promoter or something?
Yeah. Jake Roberts' dad.
Grizzly Smith?
No, that we're talking about Baby Doll, who was married to Jake's brother,
Sam Houston.
but she was something to do with the business.
I think so too. I think her
Her
dad.
dad or something was affiliated. So anyway, she brought her pet snake for the Sheik to bring to the ring for a prop, you know.
That's so cool.
So the Sheik walks in with the big snake, and I like snakes, you
Right.
know. And Humperdinck says, "Sell the fucking snake." I didn't know to sell the snake. He's pointing, so I took a powder. So the match progressed, and it went on, and the Sheik ripped my shirt off and poked me with a pencil. I didn't bleed or anything, but and the whole night was over, and I got a $90 check. my first night in business was night. I was ecstatic. Oh my God, look at this $9 check. I'm so happy. And the best thing about that is that Dory Funk saw something in me. He says, oh, we like you, man. We love you. We're going to use you as much as we can, but we're limited because we got our own guys and this and that. But he loved me. And all the guys liked me. I was just a natural, the right place at the right time. And
Right.
I was hungry for the business. I would do anything. And I just did all my bumps and flips and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So we went back to Dallas and finished this tour out. And I guess those times we were doing like, you would stay in the territory for a year or 6 months or 9 months, and then the office would get you booked somewhere else. It didn't change. So his tour was winding up, and I only worked like, excuse me, maybe 3 times the whole time I was there for 6 months. So I worked for Joe Blanchard one time with the referee, something that he got a flat tire or something happened, and they had to use me. Because I was there, and I always had my referee gear with me in the car. I wouldn't carry it in the dressing room, but it would be, they said, you got the gear? Yes, I do. So, my brother gets booked. The office says, well, you're going to finish up, but we got you booked in Mid-Atlantic in the Carolinas. Which we didn't know at that time was one of the hottest territories in the country. You know, it was Flair and Wahoo and that big run, and what was the booker's name there then?
Crockett?
George Scott.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was Crockett owned the company and overseen it, but George, everybody had the bookers. So my brother said, we're going to Mid-Atlantic. We'll do the same thing there we did in Texas. I'll take you, you're my little brother. At least you got a little bit of background now. Tell the booker there that you're here with me. If you can use it, the whole 9 yards. So we drive to Carolinas. We had a great time in Texas. We learned a lot. We drive to Carolinas and went to the office. Checked in the hotel. Next thing went to the office. And George Scott, my name is David Patterson. Yeah. It's my little brother. He's a referee. He worked for the Funks and the Blanchards and this and that. Good, excuse me. If you can use them, we'd appreciate it. But he's going to be with me the whole tour, the whole time we're here. So he said, well, we got Tommy Young. We got, there was 4 for the Hebner, one of the Hebners. There was several referees. Oh, damn, I can't think of the old time guy's name. Stu Hart. No, not Stu Hart. Stu. Damn, I'll think of the name. Stu Swartz,
right.
The referee. We had our own referees, but if we can use it, fine. So I was there for about, I guess about another 6 months. So now I've been away from home for a year, basically. But with my brother, having a good time, learning, young kid, and having a nice time. And some of the guys that I met in Texas came through, like Harley Race, and all the guys would come through. The bigger names would come through and rotate the whole country, and the smaller guys would just go from territory to territory underneath, basically. So I worked maybe twice the whole time I was in the Carolinas because they had their own guys. They couldn't use me if they had a flat or somebody got sick. They used Patterson's little brother. So that's what happened. Finally, I got tired. I said, Dave, you're making good money. You've been taking care of me. I eat like a king. You buy me whatever I need. If I'm sick, you pay. But I don't have a life. I said, you do. I need to do something. I guess I'm going to go home. I was getting discouraged.
Right.
You know, I wanted to be in the ring. I didn't want to be a coke boy no more, which was fine. But I wanted to do more. If I couldn't do that, I'd go home until I had a chance, if I ever did. So now all the guys catch wind that I'm leaving, and I'm well liked. I've been there 6 months, and they go, "Oh, don't leave." But yeah, but so Paul Jones, #1, little Paul Jones, not little Paul Jones. He was a fucking giant of a character, but he was a smaller guy. He said, "I heard you're leaving." I said, "Yeah, I'm going back to Florida because of this and that, and just what I told you guys." He said, "Well, here's what you do. When you get to Florida, Jerry Briscoe's the assistant booker. He's a very good friend of mine." He says, "Call him, let him know that I sent you down there. It should be available. It's not going to hurt. He might not hire you, but it ain't going to hurt.
Right.
At least every number." I'm bored you already?
No.
Okay, I'm kidding.
No, this is good.
So I took the office number down, and I said, "Great." Everybody patted me on the back, and I left and went home. So I really didn't have wasn't thinking business. not that I'm not a ballsy guy. I didn't want to just walk into the office and say, hey, I'm into this guy and that guy. I was glad to be home for a while. I said, damn, I'm home in Tampa Bay. I was born and raised. And I mean, so it really never entered in my mind to call Jerry Briscoe because I was a little doubtful, a little shy, a little discouraged. And then I said, well, Jerry, this is my hometown. Dusty's the booker. I ain't got a chance in hell. So I got a job importing, because Tampa's the 7th largest port in the nation. Would a lot of Japanese goods would come in, and they would assemble the trucks over there, and then we would piece them to get around the taxes. They would be in 2 parts. The bed would be here, and the truck would be here. When they get to the States, we'd put the bed on them and ship them all over the country wherever the trucks went. So I did that for a while, and of course I wasn't happy doing that. My mind was on the road. Boy, I had a taste of the limelight. So I got tired of I got getting burned out, and me and my buddies, which end up being my cousin by marriage, is Julio Valentino, Cesar Alfonso. Remember we did that thing?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I married his cousin, which made us cousins, so he's actually my cousin. We worked together. It was sunny, and we had the itch, and then he says, let's go to West Palm Beach, just out of the blue. We're on the way to work, with the lunch bags and shit. Let's go. So we didn't even call in sick. We come back 3 days later to work. We walk into work. Where the hell you guys been? Oh, we've been sick. We didn't call in. You both are fired. Get out of here. We all had suntans and shit. So we got fired. So now I'm without a job. And now something starts ringing in my head. Why don't you call Jerry Briscoe? Why don't you call? So I did. Called the Florida office, and there was an old man named Charlie Lay, who was an old-time wrestler in Tennessee, and he was big in his damn time. We're talking way before our time, because I never heard of him, and I've been around wrestling since, I guess, the late 60s, So he was before then. So, yeah, can I help you? I said, yeah, my name's Bill Alfonso. I just moved from Charlotte. I work for Jim Crockett. Paul Jones thought it'd be a good idea for me to talk to Jerry Briscoe and let him know that I'm here. He says, okay, kid, why don't you come in? This was a Friday. Why don't you come in on Monday, and I'll set it up. We can talk to Briscoe. All right? I said, okay, bam, hung up. So that Monday, I was fucking not. I'm not from a wealthy family, but, I'm from a middle. Well-to-do family, and I had nice clothes and stuff, and I dressed sharp and stuff. Boy, I couldn't sleep that night. So 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm at the office door. Nobody's at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just like you guys don't get here till 9:30. Fuck, who are we kidding? So I drove around, went and had a breakfast and a donut, got back, and Charlie, I knocked on the door, now everybody's there full production. Walked in the office, Bill Alfonso, Charlie Lay. He says, hold on a second, kid. Alfonso's here to see your Briscoe. So he says, wait, so they buzzed me back, send them up, so I had to go up. If you guys ever been in Florida, a sportatorium where they did TV for years, it was a legend place. I was a mark going to TVs and stuff when I was a kid. Yeah. Now I'm wanting up to meet Jerry Briscoe to try to get a job. So I walk up, he says, yeah, what can I do for you? I said, Bill Alfonso, I'm a friend of Paul Jones. I met him in the Carolinas. He told me to give you guys a call when I got in. I just moved to Tampa. I didn't tell him that I was born and raised there and all that. All that came out later. I'm moving to Tampa. He said, give you my number and so on and so on. He said, well, who have you worked for? Now I got some names. I said, well, I work for the Funks in Amarillo. Oh, yeah? The Funks and the Briscoes are legendary fucking mansions.
Yep.
Oh, good. That's good. Who else? Joe Blanchard. So who else? I said, George Scott. George Scott? Wow, you got the credentials. But here's my thing. We got our own referees, but this summer we may be running 2 towns, and we might be able to use you. So leave your number with Jerry, with Charlie Lay downstairs. If we ever use you, nice meeting you, and I'll be thinking about you for real. I said, I'll find something legitimate. I said, okay, thanks, Jerry. I walked out of there, thanked everybody. As soon as I walked out, I walked out like this. That old story. This was a Monday. Monday they ran West Palm Beach, which is 200 miles from Tampa, Tampa was Tuesday, Wednesday was Miami, Thursday was Jacksonville, Friday, so on and so on. Just repeated itself over and over. So that Monday, the referee had a little heat with the office from previous fuck-ups. So that Monday, the referee had 3 guys in his car and himself driving to West Palm Beach, and there were 3 guys in the main event, like the top 3 matches of the card. Something happened to his car, and he blew 3 main events that night. He got fired that night because it wasn't his first deal. It was like 5 mistakes. He had a flat with no spare in a car with 3 main event guys, so got fired. Tuesday morning, my phone rang. Alfonso? Yes, Charlie Lay for the office. I said, yes, sir. He says, can you make it tonight? I says, yeah, not a problem. He says, okay, be there at 6 o'clock to see Dusty. I said, holy shit. Now I'm on my own. It's my brother's gone.
Right.
He's in there. And you know what I mean?
Right.
I got the same fucking size 12 shoes on, and the baggy pants, and oversized black and white referee stripe. So now I'm going to the Armory, the Fort Homer Hesterly Armory, that's where I was raised, and watch all the legendary Joe Scarpa and all the fucking funk, the whole 9 yards. So I go in, I'm pretty excited, but I'm kind of maintaining. So I get there early, and Dusty was always early. He was real punctual, Dusty was. That's why we got along real good. Not that I'm punctual, but he taught me a lot of stuff. So I go to the Fort Homer Hesterly Armory. I walk upstairs where you know what I mean, was real kayfabe to the marks. I said, holy shit, I'm going on, what does it look like? Eddie Graham lost his eye up there, the whole 9 yards. So I get up there, and Dusty's the only one in the dressing room, because I'm early and he's early. He's always early. And he said, you knew the referee? I said, yeah. I said, Dusty Rose. I said, Bill Alfonso. I said, sit down, just relax over there, and all the guys should be in here. So now all these guys start piling in the dressing room. Manny Fernandez, all these guys. I can't remember exactly who was there, but as time goes by here. All the guys that I watched and stuff, and the Briscoes, and Eddie Graham comes in. He wasn't real involved at that time, but he'd come around, and, like in Tampa. He wouldn't go to all the shows, but he lived in Tampa, so he'd come to the Tampa shows, the TVs and stuff. So I heard a couple of the guys saying to Dusty, who's that guy? Because I didn't have my clothes on. I didn't know whether to get dressed or not. Who's that guy? Who's that guy? You know what I mean? And he said, oh, his brother's in the business. He's a referee. We're going to use him tonight. Oh, Jody Hamilton was there. The Masked Assassins. Yeah, Nick Patrick's dad.
Is that Nick Patrick's dad?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And Jody's in the office in WCW.
Yeah. He's just something with the school or something?
He's affiliated with the school, and he's at all the TVs, and he schedules underneath talent for the TV job guys and the referees, and you know what the gorilla position is?
No.
It's the position where you stand before you go out to the ring, like on a pay-per-view and all the TVs.
Right.
Because Gorilla Monsoon used to be back there all the time. That's why they call it the gorilla position. He was at the gorilla position saying, go, 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 and 6 minutes, and the cues, go home, this and that. So,
Oh, okay.
So he was one of the guys. So the night went on, and I just fit right in after after the first few minutes of them not knowing who I was and me not knowing who they were, but I did, but I didn't.
Right.
Was over. Then we all started getting along, just like we are here.
Right.
We're all fucking human. We're all pretty cool. And
Right.
they asked me, a couple guys, where you been? I said, yeah, I did the Chic Smash, and then he stuck me with a pen, so it was a little stiff. And so I got over it with a couple little funny stories.
Stiff?
No, but he treated me good for some reason, because he's been known to hurt guys.
Right.
Yeah, but and Mr. Humperdinck's name, and oh yeah, Hump's been here, yeah. So they kind of clicked me in right away. And again, that night I was a fucking natural. I was just custom built for the business, and since day one. So after that night, Jerry Briscoe came up and says, "Can you make Miami and Jacksonville Thursday?" And I said, "Yeah, not a problem." And I drove by myself those trips, and he said, "You can hook up with some guys if you want," but I didn't really know. I knew how, but I didn't. I drove the shots by myself and did well. So by that Sunday, they kept asking me every night at the end of the show, can you make the next night? Can you make the next night? So from Tuesday to Sunday, Jerry Briscoe came up to me Sunday night and says, you're in, got a full-time job if you want it, but remember this, you can leave as fast as you came.
Right.
I'll never forget him saying that to me. And it was real serious, like, not being an asshole, but saying, this is how it is, kid. You know what I mean? You
Right.
fuck up, or something, you know, just, there's no guarantees in life here. This business is fucking heavy, man. The vicious offices are sometimes. Vicious. And I ended up being there until they closed shop.
That's a long time.
All the time.
And then from there, I went to TBS, and then I went to WWF, and then I went to Japan, and now Vince, and so that's my story, how I basically got my full-time job. And
Do you want to talk about the other companies? Do you want to talk about stories now? I mean,
whatever you guys want to talk about. I mean,
Since we're on to Florida, when was it that you actually realized that they like hit big, that they hit like national, stardom, and were recognized worldwide?
well, nobody knew. It was totally different back then. Nobody hit national or worldwide until Vince started doing his things, and TBS started having, that Channel 17, the Superstation. So
Right.
we knew we were hot. I mean, they knew they were hot to a certain degree. I mean, we ran Florida. We didn't run nowhere else.
Right.
Everybody had their territory. Georgia was one, Mid-Atlantic, Texas, Bill Watts, everybody had different. Tennessee. There's 29 territories in the country, so nobody was worldwide hot, but except for the heavyweight champion who would go to Japan or
Right.
something like that.
Right, back
so,
then.
so, so the question was, there wasn't no worldwide because we weren't. Never happened. We realized we were one of the hotter territories. When we were doing sellout business and stuff like that, and they had our crew down to like 16 guys instead of having 29 guys on the card and 8 matches and 3 tags and 4 managers and 9 refs and 2 whores and all kinds of,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say 2 whores and, that big package. I think the Florida Nut at one time, their expense was, I think it was $45,000
Wow.
expense, which seemed high back then, but that was their TVs, their talent, their insurance, their buildings, their office, their personnel, their cokes, their things, everything combined. And we were exceeding that way a lot. So, but before I came in when Dusty was there, and Dusty brought it to another level, and he had different visions, and he could see some of the future, and that's why I fit in. Actually, when I came in, I was in the tail end of the old school, so I got to see some of that, like the Matsudas and the Bobo Brazils and those guys like that. And then some of the guys stayed, like the Murdochs, and those guys stayed for another. So I saw some of the old-time guys, they faded out. I saw some of that. Then I graduated and saw the Dusties and all that go and become the powerfuls, and I saw the new guys coming in, like the Wyndhams and those guys and the Terry Allens. Then it excelled past that.
Right. Yeah.
So Dusty had the vision. Actually, Dusty wasn't real well liked by the Florida office because of his thinking. He was thinking of ahead. These guys, nothing against the Florida office, but it was like there was 4 or 5 owners. I think Eddie was one of the owners. Pat Tanaka's dad was one of the owners. Hiro Matsuda was one of the owners. Somebody from Atlanta was one of the owners. So they, Barnett was one of the owners. So they had several different owners, and they didn't want to take money out of their pocket to put in the business to make it bigger. And Dusty's vision was, Lords of the Ring. Let's do bigger things.
Right.
Let's do this. That's why he left, I believe, Florida and went to Crockett, because Crockett was going to give him more power, and Crockett was real enthusiastic about the business and could foresee the future, not like these old-time guys that were happy spending no money, making X amount of money when they could have spent more money, made more money.
Right.
So, so what was my point?
Just basically about hitting Florida going basically becoming hot more.
Oh, and when Florida was getting hot, when we were selling out every building, we would be selling out every building we went to, and we had like a 16-man crew.
Right.
And an angle would last for a while. We wouldn't have to bring in. We brought in somebody to be like the world champ for a week, or and stuff like that. But man, what a business! I knew we were hot then when we had people calling us from all over the country trying to get in. We just had no room.
Right.
And I wasn't in the office, but we all knew our territory.
Yeah.
But it had grown big, and Dusty was the main key to that. And Dusty didn't wrestle that much because he didn't have to. It wasn't on TV that much. Why give him the product when you don't have to? You know what I mean? The Wyndhams were carrying it, and those guys like that, and it was great, man.
Yeah. Was in general with the Florida locker rooms, was it a lot of camaraderie, or was it separated
It was
by
good.
ego? Or?
Dusty was there was several different bookings. As you guys remember, I was there 6 to 8 years before it kind of fell through, and Vince McMahon kind of and TBS and all that started.
Right.
It was real good, and Dusty had everybody pretty good. There was some big heads, but there wasn't big. Everybody's got an ego.
Right.
But Dusty kept us going like as a ball team. He would have the meetings, like Paulie has the meetings in the dressing room in the State of the Union, but Dusty would have meetings all the time and put this guy over from the underneath guy to this guy. We were like a ball team.
Right.
I mean, we were a team. We weren't like
separated. Or...
There wasn't no Neon Dion that wanted his own dressing room.
Your own agendas.
Does Vince do that too? The big meetings and stuff in front of everyone?
Yeah, not a lot, but of course they have meetings, especially when somebody fucks up or something. Yeah, and they all have their meetings. You heard one meeting, you heard them all because they're basically the same.
Right.
They try to keep everything flowing good. Every meeting is the same. Every time I hear Paulie's going to call a meeting or Vince is going to call a meeting, I look at the guy I'm running with or traveling with, and here it goes again. The same old meeting we wrote 10,000 times. Basically, the majority of the meetings is the stuff you've heard all your life in the business.
Just morale, good morale.
Yep, you got to have it.
Wow.
What's any good Gordon Solie stories?
Gordon Solie actually was great guy. In fact, we still talk once in a while, and he lives about 30 minutes from me. Actually, I lived in Odessa, which Gordon Solie lived, but he sold his property because it was too much for him to maintain. It was a big lake house, and him and Smokey, his wife, moved to off US 19 to like a Newport Richie area in a condo, and so they still have his name there on his road, Solie Road.
Oh, really?
Named it after him?
Yeah,
Wow.
I sure did, because he was a legend.
Right.
Actually, he was a legend. Yeah, he's great. Jack and Jerry Briscoe live like on the next lake.
Oh, really?
Yep. And good Solie stories. Just a classic guy. So, I guess he approached them somehow and wanted to be an announcer for the wrestling, and he did that, and he had that raspy voice back then. And then the TV hit, and then they've taken from there, and now he's a legend.
Right. In 82 and 83, which, I don't know, a lot of people see him as like some of the classic years of Florida. Who was behind it? Was it Dusty? That it was like Dusty's ideas at the time, like 82, 83?
What matches were you talking about? Who was there?
The Sullivan angles.
Yep.
Actually,
they were against Sullivan. The office, again, remember I said the office didn't want to spend the money and all that. This has nothing to do with money, but Dusty and I guess whoever had the vision of the Sullivan, the Devil, but Kevin was not small.
Right.
He's a little short, but he's a big
He was a
fucking
bodybuilder,
dude.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was big. I've seen him cut up and look like Lex Luger, but shorter, and I've seen him big as a damn house, you know? So, the office said, oh, this guy would never get over here, this thing, but Dusty had the vision, and him and Dusty were the hottest things they would sell out, and they would overdo it. They wouldn't. Dusty knew his talent like Paul Heyman knows his audience. Dusty knew his audience, what he could do, what he couldn't do. Not too much, not too little bit, but kept that soap opera going. My God, it was similar to this.
When anybody thinks of Florida, you always think of Kevin Sullivan doing the devil worship in Urick.
Yeah, it's like
Purple Haze.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. How was Blackjack Mulligan an integral part of like the booking or the
Nope.
No, not at all.
Nope.
He was just one of the boys, one of the
Just
workers.
one friend of Dusty's for years. His son was over there, like he was the next superstar of the business, Barry Windham. And he had already been there for a couple of years, and Mulligan was out doing New York or Minnesota, wherever the hell he was, and never been into Florida. And I'm not sure if Dusty and Mulligan had some type of something was going on there where they didn't bring him in. But anyway, all that was overlooked. I'm sure they're good friends today, but it was time to bring in Blackjack Mulligan. Dusty knew.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Paul Heyman. He knows what to do. I never second guessed Paul Heyman. I tried to one time since I've been here, and I said, no, I don't think that's not good for me. He said, Fonz, trust me, and I did, and it happened, and bam, and I've been here a year, and I'll never second guess him again. But I can view my opinion anytime, and he's
Right.
except and changes things around for me if I, but so it was time for Mulligan to come in because the angle with the Sullivan and the Wyndham and all that came through, and here comes Blackjack. I remember how they brought him in. We used to go to this bar Tuesday nights called Papa's every Tuesday night, and it was like a country western bar because that was Dusty was country and western. I still wear boots, and I never choose to snuff, but I had a can of snuff in my back pocket all the time, like Dusty.
Yeah.
Hey baby, listen to Will and Jennings and shit. It's cool.
Yeah.
If you're around that for 5 years, you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. And I loved it. So the thing was they hurt Wyndham. Kevin hurt Wyndham bad, like on the shoot. But by that he didn't mean to, but it was potatoed him and knocked him out, concussioned him, and we played it off, and it was a big angle. So you see you're watching on shows like a soap opera, like Paul's show as Paul Heyman, like a soap opera, and you see Dusty shooting pool, and you see Wyndham there. Now this is weeks later. Now they're shooting pool, and it shoots the cue ball, and all of a sudden it's big. Because Mulligan had hands like about this big. I mean, just huge hands. I mean, he was actually a small giant.
Yeah.
And the cue ball, he grabs the ball, picks up, and starts going into his real serious interview, and then comes in, and then he went later to the get your mama out of the kitchen interviews and all that, but this was a serious angle to bring him in. Like they brought the Purple Haze in. Kevin Sullivan had this guy, Purple Haze, Mark Lewin, swim from Singapore in the ocean all the way and come out of the water. Boom. And then, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but actually Mulligan wasn't involved in the booking. He was just a part of the talent.
Really?
Yeah.
When did Eddie Graham come into play as like being like a big part of the booking? Because
Eddie was already gone when I got there in '80. Not gone in the sense of not being around the office, but was already out of the ring, already out of the office. He had been in the wrestling business for 30 years before I got there. Was all over Tennessee, New York, and wasn't involved. But he was the owner, one of the main owners, and his son Mike Graham. So Eddie would just come down to the shows, like I mentioned before a little bit, just to stay involved, get away out of the house, and want to know how the business was run, and still loved the business, and you know what I mean, had influence. If somebody, old friend of Eddie's called him up and said, hey, can you bring my kid in? Bam.
Yeah.
Whatever Eddie said went, basically. So Eddie was not real involved in the office by the time I got there. But I had met him, and he liked me a lot. We got along real well, and it's a shame that he's gone today, but things happen.
Yeah. How soon after the Florida offices closed did you go to TBS?
Actually, everybody went to Mid-Atlantic.
Oh, okay.
But at the time, my wife was real sick, and that's actually why I stayed, because my wife was deathly sick. God bless her. I lost her like 14 years ago. She died at the age of 22 from kidney failure.
Wow.
So she was sick for 2 years, and I worked in Florida, and the transition was after Eddie Graham died. the people, the office was giving Dusty so much shit about production costs and about he wanted to fly this guy in and put up a stage with fireworks and that. And they said, "You crazy? We can't do that." And Jim Crockett had Dusty on the other end of the phone saying, "You can do it here."
Yeah.
I think that's pretty basically how this is how I'm interpreting it, because I mean that's my concept of it.
Okay.
That's basically what happened.
Right.
But a little more details than that.
Right,
I just
sure.
wasn't there when Dusty was talking to Crockett. You know?
Right.
Shit. So Dusty left there. Said, "Fonz, you ready to go?" And I said, "I can't go, Dream." He says, "Well, when you're ready, you call me." So I stayed in Florida. Dusty left. That's when actually Florida started falling apart. And that's when Vince started to run. That's when TBS already had been going, because I remember one time when during our hot run, we were drawing say like $20,000, which was big money every week in Orlando, every Sunday night. And Orlando was the only city in our area that was getting Channel 17, the Superstation, because nobody else was.
Right.
And so they brought Tommy Rich in for one show, and the house jumped and doubled. So if somebody knew what was, something was happening. By that time, they were running the Georgia office was running those northern tours, like 6-day tours up in Michigan and Ohio, and off their TVs, and doing big business. So, but that kind of started it all. But I stayed in Florida for a while until my wife passed away, and then I went to Carolinas with Dusty and those guys.
What was it like there?
It was great. It was just like being in Florida, but a little more upswing. We were doing the bashes, the tours. I think we did the first pay-per-view there with $1 million thing with Ric Flair and all that.
The $1 million match with Flair and Dusty.
Yeah, all that started there.
Yeah.
And the difference in the Mid-Atlantic for the Crockett's and there, I mean, more money, of course, because the houses were bigger. I mean, they had a Greensboro Stadium, a Greensboro Coliseum, and Charlotte, and all those bigger places. Not actually the Omni, because that was still Georgia stuff, until Crockett got in and bought the rights to TBS or to whatever that deal was there. Then, we'd keep in our own territory, but which was big. So then we all went to TBS, and I was lucky enough to be there. Well, actually, after I worked for Mid-Atlantic, I came back to Florida for some reason. Because I've been in the business for 20 years, so it's hard to remember my pattern. I've got it written down a little bit of some of my pattern, but you lose a little bit of time, because I guess since 1980, I've had maybe like a year and a half downtime, maybe close to 2, where 6 months here, 8 months here, 3 months here, and in between jobs or something. So that's where I get a little confused at. Also, how I got back in TBS. I had got out of the business for a little while. You get burned out. I had made good money. I was burned out. I was tired of being away from home. You miss your birthdays. I had a kid at that time. My little girl, she's 15 years old now. We missed birthdays, Christmas. I was never home on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Christmas night was a show in somewhere in Greensboro Coliseum or Charlotte or somewhere, So you miss all that. So I got out of the business for a while. And I guess I was out for about a year or something. Let me finish this story, then I'll smoke a cigarette.
Cool.
I was out of business for a while. And this, I guess, was like 91 or something. So anyway, I get a phone call from Hiro Matsuda. You guys know Matsuda?
Yeah.
Train Luger and all those guys.
Train Luger. Oh, there was another thing. I was there when Luger was trained, his first matches. No, not Rick Rude. Hercules Hernandez, Ron Simmons, just a bunch of guys that I was involved in, and they always, they don't, when I see him, there's Fonzie refereeing my first match, because I don't go up to the guys and say, hey, there's Rocky Johnson, you having my first match, that, you know what I mean? So Of course, they treat you with respect. Luger always, all of them always do.
Yeah.
Just in general, not by being affiliated with
Sure.
them. So Matsuda calls me. He's the guy who trained a bunch of guys and says, Fonzie, we're doing this big show in Japan where it's
Flair Fujinami, right?
Flair Fujinami's Atlanta office, first time joint show, the Japanese office. It's going to be a big match. Would you be interested? We want you to do it. You're the only one that can do this match. Matsuda knew I was from the old school and was serious about my business and knew I could fucking do anything that they asked me, and I was well liked. And he asked me, would you fly to Japan to do this one match? I said, yes, I would.
Weren't you already there with El Gigante, or was that something?
No, that was the first. That was the first night I met George too. But the Giant was 90. He was 90 or 91. But I had been in TBS already.
Right.
And I had been with Crockett's already. This was now I have been in hiatus. I took some time off and maybe in a year or two, but I was out of the business. But I just got so burned out I left.
They must have thought really highly of you if after being out of the business so long they would call you out for that big match.
So you know where
Right.
my father's not in the business. My father wasn't promoter. My father wasn't rich. My father wasn't Tom Jones. Hey, get the kid in.
Right.
I got it. I stayed in the business on my own talent. I'm not saying I'm greater than anybody, but I poured my heart and soul into the business, and I was good. How could I not be good? I was trained by the Briscoes and the Funks and the old school and the Mike Grahams and the Dory Funks and the Crockett's and the Von Erichs and all those guys. How can I not absorb all that?
Right.
You know, if I'm being idiots, but I did.
Right.
So the guy called me, Matsuda called me and says, Fonz, we want you to come to Tokyo. Here's the date. We're sending your plane ticket. We need your visa thing. We'll send all that bullshit to you. Fine. So the date's starting to come by. I get like a 2 weeks notice, and I said, I knew Dusty's the booker, all the Jim Hurds are going to be there, all the Atlanta offices flying in, all the Japanese office. I want to impress Matsuda. I want to impress everybody. I know I'm doing the main event, Fujinami and Flair. What can I do to be a little more than a fucking regular guy out there with a bow tie on? I mean, there's not much more you can do.
Right.
So, of course, I went and bought new clothes. I went and bought a nice designers, black pants, $80 designers, long sleeve blue shirt, nice bow tie, and shoes is cleaned up, haircut, everything trimmed nice. I need to do a little more than that. So I was thinking of Japanese versus America, USA, Japan, USA. Oh, easy. Got an American flag, got a Japanese flag, sewing them back to back right here. Nice little
I know that.
flags.
We were watching the tape earlier. Yeah.
Is it in there now?
Yeah.
Popping in.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to get over with. I'm looking for a way to get over. So I didn't ask nobody permission to do that. I just did it. So we all flew over there. And I met Dusty in Atlanta. We were all on the same flight from Atlanta to Tokyo.
Go ahead.
We were all on the same flight from Atlanta to Tokyo. We bullshitted. And, Dustin was on the tour.
Dustin Rhodes?
Yeah, because him and his dad were going to tag up against two Japanese guys.
That's right. Right.
So Dusty was telling Dustin the story about how I punched his dad in the jaw and blackened his eye up and all that shit.
He wasn't there.
So here's exactly the shirt that got me my second run in the business.
I know it's hard for
Pick
you
up
fans at home to
You
understand
definitely
this.
can once the match gets started.
But yourself
I
and
took
Tony
note
in
of
my
that.
position out here in center field, these rules are rather unique, and it's almost a hybrid of the Japanese
Now there's
philosophy
65,000
and
people in
rules
this
and
thing. This
the
building is so
WCW
big,
philosophy
you cannot imagine we're going to put
Both
65,000 people.
organizations had no problem agreeing on that.
There you are. There's the flag. You see the flag right there.
Well, that's what got me over now.
Great
But when I walk in the
experience for all of
dressing room, I don't walk
And
in
this was something we can't
with
see
my
right
shirt like this, hanging around, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I'm real kayfabe, I'm in my little corner, I'm watching everybody's real humble, plus I'm the smallest guy in the totem pole, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I have credibility with the Japanese office because Matsuda brought me. He's Japanese, he's in the Japanese office.
Right.
And I have credibility with Dusty and all them because I'm a legend in my own mind to them, you know? So I'm getting dressed in my corner and I wait for my spot. You know, I see all the officers getting together to go over this thing, this big production. And when my spot comes up, when they're talking about the production and stuff of the main event, that's where I finished getting dressed, and now everything is starting to happen. I walk over, and the Japanese guys say, "Ooh, oh," and like that. So they liked it. Dusty said, "Fonzie, good, great." He's happy for me that I didn't work the Japanese office, that I impressed them, and yeah, that's fine as damn. So anyway, the match went over. I took a big bump. I did my flip. The big controversy. The thing got over, and everybody said thanks, hell of a job. So the night was over, and after one of those 65,000 people sellout crowd went over nationwide, tapes, they must have made $10-15 million in the period of time over this one show. I think it was a $3 million gate.
You guys get a good payday for that, or?
I made $2,500 for that match.
Which for one
and
match?
They flew me over. No, actually, I did the Giants match too against Curtis Hughes.
Right.
Okay.
So they wanted me to do that match because they wanted somebody to help the Giant out because he was still green in the business.
Right.
And they knew I was smart and could help him out if he got stuck. But so after the show, excuse me, Japanese office spares no expense. I mean, they flew me over business class, which was an $1,800 ticket. Put me in the Keo Plaza, which was $300. And beautiful, and they had a big party for both companies after, and shrimp like this. I mean, food, servants, as much drink and stuff as you want. And they had rented like a bar restaurant, and for us, because there was like 200 people there. You know, with the production people, the boys, the fans, the office, the wives, and this and that, the music, the band. So the night was about over, and it was about, I guess everybody was at the same hotel. It was about 45 minutes from the hotel, so the bus dropped us off. Japanese bus dropped us off, and we were going to all catch cabs to go back to the hotel. No telling what time the party was going to get over, 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4. So how I got back in my job into TBS, full-time, making $2,000 a week, driving a brand new Cadillac for 2 years, 365 days a year, was this. It's all a matter of being in the right place at the right time. I just had impressed the Japanese office. I just had made Dusty happy. I didn't impress him too much, but I just made Dusty happy. Everything was going good. I did my part. He was glad to see me. He didn't hire me. They did. So the end of the night, there was 30 of the boys there. You know, all the wrestler guys going back to the hotel. So Dusty and Matsuda and Flair and all of them we were all standing out. There was a big line of the guys all bullshitting and stuff, and the cab would get up and they would put Dusty in there, get in, you guys get in this cab, and the cab would go. The line was getting smaller and smaller, so the last 3 guys, everybody's gone, but the main event, which was the Ric Flair, the head of the Atlanta office, Dusty, and me.
Right.
We're the last 3 guys there. And I said, I need to say something pretty fucking witty here to Dusty because, you know, this is us 3, we're all laughing and bullshitting, and hopefully nobody's offered me a job or said, come on to Atlanta. So I said, hey, Dusty. He said, what, Fonzie? He said, what, baby? What you want, Fonzie? You know, I talked. I said, well, you know, we've been here for 2 days. I said, I spent all day today looking at real estate for you. I said, what are you talking about, Fonzie? Looking for real estate for the dream, baby. I said, fuck, tell me, does this make sense, Dusty? I said, you guys just came over and did a joint production and was the biggest show ever in the history of Japan, and it's going to be big, so you need an office here, right? Oh, fine. I said, you see that skyscraper over there with those 12 satellite dishes on top? That's a direct link to Ted Turner's office. I got all the quotes for you. I give them to you back at the hotel. He knew I was ribbing them, but he liked it. I put him over so much that he was going to take over Japan and stuff that he said, he started laughing and shit, so the cab put up, we all jump in the cab. So now he gets a little pop out of that. So I'm sitting in the front with a Japanese driver showing the matches, Keo Plaza, and Rick and Dusty are in the back seat. Now this is the first time for them to be alone since that morning because they've been surrounded by Japs, all the big match, the big production, then the party. They had to be diplomatic.
Right.
Now this is the first time they're by themselves, the 2 guys, nobody else around but me, and they felt comfortable with me.
Right.
So I said, boy, we got it. We did the right thing. They were happy as shit and talking all kind of strategy and stuff. Of course, I didn't say nothing.
Right.
So now it's an hour ride back to the hotel. So they talked for 45 minutes and stuff. And finally they start running out of things to say. And Dusty says to Flair, "Who's that up in the front seat, Flair?" And he said, "That's Wild Bill Alfonso." That's what Flair used to call me. I used to ride with Flair when he came down. Me and Flair were good friends. And he says, "Fonzie, baby, it's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for you. I'm going to have Terry call you Tuesday, baby. You got it, Fonzie? I'm going to have Terry call you Tuesday." I said, "Thanks, Dream." That's all I said.
Right.
Boom. No more was said on the plane, nothing, except for, "Hey, Dustin," boom, 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 boom. I never said, "Oh, you gonna make sure Terry go?" Boom. Fucking, so we get back to the States, everybody stays in Atlanta, I catch my flight home. Here comes Tuesday, the fucking phone rings, boom. Bonds come up, we give you a starting date of January 15th. Then a couple hours later, said, "We need you to come up January 2nd. Right away, start right away, we want you right away." So,
That's the deal with Elegante, or?
no, because Ricky Santana had him then, and Ricky had some falling out with the office, and then I got him after Ricky. So I flew up there and got my first check. I knew everybody up
Right.
there, so it's like I just back in the thing.
Right.
Plus I just seen him in Japan, so everybody welcome to the club. There was a little jealousy in the referees, but I knew the referees, and it wasn't jealousy. I shouldn't even say that.
You get along with the Hetmers at all, or?
Yeah. Oh, I love Dave and Earl. Yeah, real well.
You like?
Yeah, I love Dave and Earl. Real good guys. So I get up there and I get my first check. Damn, this gotta be wrong. I said, "Dream, I got a check this big." He said, "How much was it?" I said, $1,900. That's about right. Wow, are you sure?
Yeah.
I did it. I knew that was the right amount of money,
Right.
but we didn't agree on nothing.
Right.
Dusty didn't say, "Well, I'm bringing you 15. I'm gonna bring you 25,000." What he didn't say nothing, but I knew that was ballpark figure of what that caliber character was making. You know what I mean? It was a referee.
Right.
And these guys are making 600,000. Why can't I make 2,000?
Right.
So, but I was putting Dusty over again, not kissing his ass,
Right.
but saying, "Hey, I think I got a check too big." He laughed about it and says, "You ought to see mine. It's this big." He's great. Okay, let's wind it up. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and relax.
Okay.
Okay. Up to my big paycheck.
Yeah.
What are you, Elegante stories?
Or how you got hooked up with him and everything.
Yeah.
You want?
That's how I got to the Cadillac I was telling you about. I was there, and I guess it was Ricky Santana, somebody that were actually helping the Giant out because he's got to have. Well, this time he spoke almost perfect English.
Right.
He was an intelligent guy. Not a great worker, but his physical attraction was the key to his success. He made $750,000 in 3 years in this business.
Wow.
And saved every penny of it, besides the tax and stuff. But he did real well. And how he got out because of his health. He's diabetic now. His joints are all messed up. So something happened with his assistant that was helping him out. I guess wasn't taking care of him the right way or wanted more or something. Anyway, got fired. Dusty called me up and said, "Fonz, the job's yours." Because he seen how I got along with the Giant in Japan, and we became friends anyway. So they gave me an extra $400 a week and a Cadillac, 365 days a year, just to take care of the Giant, and actually wasn't take care of him. Cut my expenses down. I didn't have to rent a car. And me and the guy got along perfect. And it's not like he'd call me up at 4 in the morning and say, "Hey, Fonz, go get me a hamburger."
Right.
It wasn't one of those things. It was more like friends.
You want to tell the one story about the hotel room?
That's kind of heavy,
Okay.
but I would love to tell that story. I'll tell it off camera, but
All right.
I'm not going to tell it to you guys.
But So you ran with him for how long in WCW?
I ran with him for almost the 2 years I was there. After I got back with him the second time and did the Japanese thing, and Dusty said it's going to happen for you and all that. And about 2 years, and then his contract, bookers had changed. Ole Anderson, everybody, some new office came in and thought the Giant was overpaid. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I mean, who's to decide? Sting made $750. Why not pay the Giant $250? Fuck, cut Sting's pay. Doesn't against Sting. Sting is talented as hell, but you know what I mean. I'm just using an example, Sting.
Yeah.
So they wanted the Giant to take a pay cut, maybe 50 grand less or 25. Just they wanted to cut the expenses down because the company wasn't making money. So the Giant didn't want to take a pay cut. He said, Fonz, you know anybody in WWF? I said,
He was smart like that already?
yeah. Yeah, he was talented. He had played several years in pro basketball in Argentina.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
He's very
already
business
good with
savvy.
contracts. Yeah, very intelligent guy. Says, you know anybody in WWF? I said, yeah, I know J.J. Dillon. I worked with him for 6 years in Florida. It was Dusty's right-hand man. I was Dusty's left-hand man. I said, well, why don't you give him a call? Because they're trying to fuck me over a little bit on my contract here. He says, I can go to Japan and wrestle. The Japanese office wanted to sign exclusively with Baba or Inoki. The basketball companies and wherever he played at wanted him, so he had like 3 options. He said, I can stay with TBS, I can go to Japan, or I can go play basketball. So I called J.J. Dillon up. I haven't talked to J.J. in years because he's been up there with Vince and I've been down there, and you know, you don't cross wires and as you see somebody at the airport, and just because you work together for years and years, like if I leave ECW, you guys aren't going to call me up every 6 months. Hey, Fonz, how's your family? If I see you, hey, Fonz, what's going on? You know what I mean? How's it? Like that.
Right.
So I called JJ. I called the office up, New York office, and JJ Dillon, who's calling Bill Alfonso. Hey, Alfonso, what's going on, Fonz? What can I do for you? I said, we talked about the families and everything for a minute. I said, here's the deal, JJ. I said, I'm with the Giant, and his contract's up for renewal. He's not sure if he wants to go to TBS or go work for the Japanese office. I'll go back to Argentina to play basketball. We want to know if you guys are interested. He said, well, let me get back with you. Let me run it by Vince, and I'll get back with you. We were at my house at the time because the Giant had something wrong with his foot. He had to have a little operation on his foot, so we took a month off trying to renegotiate our contracts. And I gave him my number, and he said, I'll get back with you. So I hung up the phone. I said, well, the guy says to get back with us. Could be 2 months, could be
2 days.
20 minutes later, the phone rings. Says, Vince is definitely interested in you guys, in the Giant.
Right.
When would he be able to come up? I said, first, let me say this, JJ. I said, I've been with the Giant for 2 years. Would like a package deal. It's not 100%, but while I'm his translator, I take care of him, I drive him, plus I do 2 jobs at once, JJ. He said, I understand.
Yeah.
He said, well, of course I wasn't. He said, you were included already. So, he said, when can you guys come up? This was like on a Tuesday. I said, well, anytime. He said, well, how about Thursday?
Huh.
What was that? Come up and have a meeting with Vince. He said, great, because his foot was messed up. It was just about healed up.
Mm-hmm.
And we had no dates with WCW. We were still getting paid.
Right.
Because we were out on an injury. But we were negotiating all over the world.
Right.
Well, you know, basically, Argentina. I wasn't. He was, but I was negotiating my life, too, to the Giant. So we flew up, me and the Giant flew up. I said he's got to fly first class because he's this, and Vince flew us both first class. I love Vince for that. I love for a lot of reasons. Vince for that. So anyway, so we fly up, and Vince's personal chauffeur picks me and the Giant up in a limo, takes us to his house, to Vince's house, which is an hour drive from the airport. We'll pull up to this massive $7 million nice mansion. It's a beautiful, well-to-do fucking mansion place.
Yeah.
And JJ wasn't there. Nobody was there, but all the servants were expecting. I guess he had 2 or 3 servants or maids or whatever you want to call them. So we get in and they put us in the piano room. We're sitting down waiting, and JJ comes in. He says, "Oh, we're sorry, we're running late. Vince is on his way. How you doing, Fonzie?" I said, "JJ, this is George Gonzalez, and how they got over, bam, bam, bam." And brought us sodas and bullshitted. No business until Vince walks in a red fucking suit.
Right.
You know, the orange bright. Remember when he was wearing those colors?
Right.
Yeah.
His tennis shoes. But, you know, all custom made, nice suits and shit.
Yeah.
So Vince walks in and introduces himself. It's like, "Man, and I know you. I've seen you. Bill Alfonso." Of course, he knows I'm coming up, so put me over a little bit. But he says, "You're very athletic. I've watched your work before, and it made me feel a little more comfortable." And so he says, "Yeah, we're definitely interested in you guys." He says, and now the Giants trying to talk about figures, you know. He said, "Well, how much can I make?" So, "Well, what did you make when you were in Atlanta?" "Well, how much can I make here?" I was going back and forth, you know what I mean? Finally, the Giants said, "Oh, I was making $250." Vince said, "Oh, you're going to make way more money than that. You're way more money. Way more money." Then he starts saying his marketing. Takes you 2 years to get over. You get your merchandise, your dolls, your TVs, and this and that. WrestleMania, don't worry, you make more. He says, "Well," he says, I like what you're saying, Vince. But the Atlanta office still owes me a couple of checks, and I'm not sure." He says, "How much do they owe you?" He says, "No, it's about $37,000. That it was legitimate they were going to owe him." He says, Vince says, Here's what I'll do. I'll write you a $45,000 check right now, George. I don't even want you to talk to those people no more. You come work for us."
Wow.
Whoa.
It's like a signing bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
I was right there, and I know the figure because I was right there. Why would I bullshit you guys?
Right.
So the Giants seen that $45,000 check, and boom, it's good, and it's promised to make more money, and it's WWF, and they were at that time they were better, they were bigger, better ratings than Atlanta because of WrestleManias and all that shit.
It was a big show at the time.
Right. And the Giants says, "Okay, but I do not want to start until mid-January because this was like, this was right before Christmas, about a month before Christmas, November, or somewhere right in there. I don't want to start before Christmas because I haven't been home with my family during Christmas in 3 years, and I want to start in January." Vince says, "Don't worry, it'll take us 3 months to come up with some shit anyway for you."
Right.
He said, "Alfonso, when do you want to start? You want to start in 3 months with him?" I said, "Holy shit, I don't want 3 months without work."
Yeah.
I said, I'll start as soon as possible. And then when the Giant comes in, I'm already familiar with your system." He said, "JJ, put him to work right away."
Wow.
So, Giant gets the $45,000. So now everybody shakes hands and hugs and kisses and all that bullshit. And so we got to go to the office. Vince picks up the phone and says, "George Gonzalez, $45,000. Have it ready when we're there." Vince says, "I got a million things to do, but I'm going to have my guy take you to the office, show you around. You can pick up your check there. Fonzie, you can talk
The
to
same
JJ."
day? Everything was the same day?
Same day.
Wow.
Same day, $45,000 check. It's a good check, too, not a rugged check, you know what I mean? So, and before you go, I want you guys stopping, and he had a Giant, oh no, this was after. So we went to the office, and JJ says, "When do you want to start working?" I said, "Well, whenever." And he had the month bookings right there in front of me, flipped over, put me on all the big shows. I said, he put MSG. I said, "I understand Greensboro, all these shows, but what's the MSG? I don't." He said, "Madison Square Garden, Fonz." "Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks." So he was adding me on. All the referees were already assigned. The whole month was booked.
Right.
He just was adding me to the shows as a third wheel. They didn't even have to have me there. They were just paying me because of the Giant to be there. Plus, I was refereeing too. So we left there with contracts.
Yeah.
They had contracts fucking printed up, already
drawn.
drafted, boom. said, "Do you guys take these home, show them to your lawyers?" I said, "George, I ain't showing them to my lawyer. I'm just going to sign them and have a stamp. I don't care."
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but George had his lawyer look at it, and everything was legitimate, and we ended up staying there for a while. And the reason why George didn't fit in there after a while is because he really can't bump.
Right.
He's so big. He was starting to get sick at that time, and they liked him. Vince spent when he came back in January. Vince had him fitted for the $3,000 custom-made suits. I got a $10,000 raccoon fur, like a Babe Ruth jacket that's full length, the big
Right.
one at my house that belongs to the giant right now. He didn't want to take it back to Argentina because it weighed too much or some shit. So, I mean, he really took care of us. And I made nothing but money, my God. Flew us around the country. A lot of people don't like Vince because I guess they got burned by Vince or got screwed or lost their jobs or stuff. But I don't have a bad word to say about Vince McMahon, and I never will, because he treated me very well. Even though he's not well liked by some people, but that's their problems.
How were you guys received when you started in Titan?
I knew all the guys.
Oh, okay.
I knew 90% of the guys. There might have been a guy there I didn't know. I knew Hulk. I knew everybody there because I've been around the business
Right.
already 20 years, and if some of the guys had been interchanging with WWF and WCW, so they half the guys, because George had been there in the business 2 years already with Atlanta, so half the guys knew him or didn't know him, but knew of him, so we were treated just like
Right.
good because Vince brought us in special.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're Vince's boys now. Not Vince's boys, but Vince brought us in. You know what I mean? They're going to treat us with respect. And the Giant is different than the wrestlers because he was a different kind of competition to him. Like say Sean and Brett, or they got you know what I mean?
Right.
They might have a little conflict because they both striving to make that more money.
Right.
And like me, I'm a referee. I fit right in. The boys like me because I'm no threat to them, and I'm talented.
Right.
And they like the Giant because he was no threat to him because he's on a different level.
Right.
Right.
So, well, they loved us. They loved having a fucking 12-foot guy around. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. Did you guys ever
Yeah, I met
get
him in
close to
Baltimore.
him?
Yeah.
Wasn't he amazing to look
Huge.
at?
Yeah.
You gotta, I mean, I was with the guy every day for 3 years, and he amazed me. You know what I mean?
He's
Yeah.
huge.
I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable guy.
How'd you get in touch with, I don't know if you want to jump here, but how did you left WWF and then,
Well, I left WWF. It was economics. Vince, I guess the company was starting to cut back. And no, it was not starting. They were cutting back. They weren't doing big business like they were. When I got there, they were running 2 and mostly 3 towns a night. I mean, there was 3 shows per night, and every weekend there was matinee, there was double shots every Saturday and Sunday.
right.
So we had like 9 bookings a week. You know what I mean? We were busy. Then in that course of the time period I was there, I guess business declined, economics, 91, whatever, everything just started going. So Vince had let the Giant go already because his anger was over, and he thought that he was going to make a lot more money, but evidently he wasn't. But anyway, the Giant left there, wasn't good standards, but I stayed there for a while. Vince liked me, and I did my job good, and Vince called me and said, look, we're cutting back 30% of our company. You live in Florida. We do all our TVs up here. We got 90 referees up here. The Hebner's been here. We can't cut them out. He gave me justified reasons why he was giving me my pink slip.
Right.
And he said, economics, we're cutting the office back. We're going to rent some space in the office. We're just, it's just economics. But I'm giving you $10,000 severance pay.
Wow.
And Vince gave me a $10,000 check and said, good luck, shook my hand, hugged me, and said, the doors aren't closed.
Right.
Doors aren't closed. And I still worked some shows with him when he came to Florida. So you can work the Florida shows or stuff like that.
That's so cool.
I just can't fly around the country. We just can't. So,
Right.
But then I had no problems with that because it was business, and what can you
Right.
do? Well, please keep me.
Right.
It's business.
Right.
You guys you cut down. You got to get out of here. You're gonna go to a smaller office.
Right.
Right.
You're gonna go to a bigger office when business is good.
Right.
So I was happy and I had saved money and I bought all my stuff. I was making not a lot of money, but I was making good money. And bought a house and paid basically cash for a house and a car, so I had no expenses. So I was out of work for about, I don't know, close to a year or less or something like that. And between that, my stepdad died, and my mom has this 4-bedroom lake house in Odessa where Jack and Jerry and Gordon and all them lived, and I had my house close to Tampa Stadium. I had just built it, haven't even lived in it yet. My stepdad died, and my mom was going to be alone, so she said, why don't you sell the house and move in here? And I haven't been home in 20 years,
Right.
you know, I'm 40 years old.
Yeah.
So I've had my apartments and my house, 1, 2, 3 houses. So I said, well, Mom, I said, yeah, because my mom's getting old and she's been sick, and so I moved home. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now I got money in the bank, and she's got a house that's been paid for 20 years, and big property. I have a ball and a lake, and no expenses.
Yeah.
I just bought a Porsche, fucking lovely thing.
Nice.
So I can, you know, the money I'm making here. So I was out of work. Now my mom's got a big place, and I'm on a tractor. Cause that was my deal. I said, Mom, I'll maintain the whole area. Because we got 30 orange trees, 11 oaks. We got all kind of stuff to do there.
Right.
And she was paying through the nose to have all that done. And I said, Mom, that's me. I'll have a ball here.
Right.
And I did. I still do. I love it, living home. Especially the house is a double-decker, and she's downstairs, and I got the whole upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a lovely thing, and I'm grateful for my mom for that, too. So I'm on my tractor. I guess it was May 95, early May. The grass grows fast, so I'm cutting. My mom said, hey, you got a phone call. I'm on the tractor. It's Paul Heyman. So let's turn the tractor off. Paul Heyman? Who the fuck is Paul Heyman? So I said, okay, as I get the phone, yeah, it's Fonzie. Hey, Fonz, what's going on? Paulie Dangerously. I said, Paul, because I didn't know Paul Heyman.
Right.
Yeah.
I had met him in Florida. I'll tell you the story how I met Paulie and how I was instrumental in helping him. Now, good thing I didn't spit on the kid 10 years ago, and I wouldn't have a job here today. It's a true story. So Paulie calls me up and says, what are you doing? I said, I'm retired. Basically, I was just bullshitting. I said,
Right.
I'm retired. I'm looking for to go any fucking where at this point
Right.
now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm retired, just bullshitting, cutting my grass and taking care of my mom and, you know, doing this odd stuff. Well, I would buy and sell a car, you know, I like to do that. Because my buddy got to buying imported cars, like little Beamers. That
Like
are,
Graham does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a bigger statue than me. If I buy one every 2 months and sell it and make $1,000, that's fun
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
I get to drive the cars.
Yeah.
I just bought this 944. I may have this car 2 years. I fell in love with it, but I got it. You got to know how to buy them. And but I like this one, so I may have this one. If not, I'll turn it over. I know I'm going to make $2,500 on this car.
Yeah.
So it's got all kind of kits on it, and it's all factory, and that's another story. But we're talking wrestling. So, so Paulie says, look, I got this deal that I'm thinking about. I want ECW, and I really never heard of ECW except one time. That was through the embezzler girl that they fired,
Oh, Kathy Fitz?
Kathy, and Kathy, that they were let go because of some business deal or
Right.
something.
Right.
She had come to the WWF shows in the Spectrum, and I met her there. She said, yeah, we got this little organization, we're doing good. That's why I heard it once or twice that way, but I never knew
Right.
how it was going. Paulie says, I got this deal for you. Would you be interested in coming up? And now I had worked. I met Paulie in Florida. He came in with a guy named Tombstone.
Right.
Mark is a friend from Baltimore. With a pair of raggedy jeans, tennis shoes. Mark got booked there for like 4 months somehow, so we got him booked there, and Paulie was just to tag along like I was with my brother.
Uh-huh.
So he tagged along with Mark for the 4 months, and Mark was leaving in 3 weeks, and Paulie came up, and I was in the office at that time, me, Kevin, and whoever, and he came up to us and said, hey, you think it's possible if I can walk to the ring with Mark?
All right.
Because, like his manager, because he's leaving and give me a little experience, and I've been around. Plus, we like the kid. He's been a real nice real good guy, you know, real humble, and you know how Paulie is.
Right.
He's really knows how to work people real good. So not like that. You can't. You can't. Jeans, fucking Converse, tennis shoes with holes in them, and a T-shirt. And either myself or Kevin said, "You got a credit card?" Yeah. Kid's got a fucking platinum from his dad, right? No limit. We didn't know that. We thought it was just a kid struggling. Got a credit card? Yeah. Go buy yourself a nice suit. And then I said, and a cell phone. And then you can go to the ring with him. And he did. He came back looked good with his little gimmick cell phone. And Scott Hall slammed him, and we abused him on purpose, but this kid was slamming. The kid wasn't used to taking these big things, and Scott's 6-something, so get him way up there. He was getting hurt, broke his collarbone or some shit, never complained. Then they left. That was the last time I seen him. Until I seen him on TV working for AWA Brangania.
Right.
Had a good run there.
Right.
Paulie, I said, damn, that's the kid. Man, wow, good luck. God bless him. Then I worked with him in Atlanta. It's a danger zone in Atlanta. And all that. So I seen him throughout the years, but then I left and he left. Whatever he left, I was still there. And I stayed there and then went to New York. So I haven't seen him in 2 or 3 years. But so he says, I got this deal for you. I think you can, the only one who can do it. Basically because I was, the fans and the arena might not know who I am, but they know of me, the referee they've seen.
Right.
And most, you know what I mean? So it made a little sense. I was just fresh off of Vince's TV, basically. And on TBS and the old Florida stuff and a lot of New York. So anyway, I was known enough to do the thing. So I came in, and Paulie says, come in, we're going to do this deal with you. It's 3 months, you're in and out, I'll pay you. I said, Paulie, I'll take care of you a little bit, I'll pay your trans and give you something and your hotel. And maybe 2 or 3 months to see, and then boom. I said, great, they give me something to do. So I've been here a year and a half, and I'm in the main event of pay-per-view.
That's awesome.
So,
were you nervous the first time you got on the mic, being that I guess you?
Oh my God! I fucking when I went out to the ring, Shane brought me out. I really didn't say that much. I got my point across and was okay. Mm-hmm. But then after we were doing promos after the show, and all I had to say is, my name is Referee Bill Alfonso. I'm here to do this. And I opened my briefcase, and I had all these. I brought all my badges and all my things, WWF, WCW, I'm a super, whatever I said, but I couldn't spit it out. I couldn't get it out because I've been in front of the camera 1,000 times, been on national TV 10,000 times, but I've never really basically done a lot of promos. I've done maybe 15 to 20 in the last 20 years where, I'm a referee, my name's in the head, I'm a referee the match, or I've done a couple things in Florida, but not like we did here. So,
Didn't you did an angle on Dory Funk, you and Dory wrestled or something one time?
Yes, in Florida.
I remember watching that.
Well, actually, we just got into it at a match.
That was funny.
You got the tape?
I have it somewhere. I watched it.
So, what was I saying?
About getting on the mic.
Getting on the mic. So you said if I was nervous and stuff, I wasn't nervous till I got back there and there's 20 wrestlers and Paul Lee, the camera guy, and people wanted to go. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and say, okay, here's your lineup. I couldn't get it. Tommy Dreamer, who I like a lot, and has treated me real well, and we just clicked. And I've never met Tommy Dreamer. Tommy who? I never knew Tommy Dreamer. It wasn't until he came here. Now he's a legend to me. Tommy Dreamer is one of the hardest working guys I've ever met, and classy, nice, super guy. Couldn't do enough for him. He pulled me aside and said, Fonz, just treat it like a shoot. Treat it like it's real, like your character's a shoot. And it made sense. I said, damn, doesn't make sense. I am a shoot. I am a fucking WWF superstar, ECW. I've been around the world. I don't like this violence bullshit. Everybody's bloodied up and shit. I'm here to put a stop to it. Yeah, I'm referee Bill Alfonso, daddy, and I'm here to do. So I was a natural. Now they couldn't fucking shut. They created a fucking a monster in like fucking one night, right? And it actually got over that night. Then they took it to another level and level. And they were going to choke slam me, and they put it off. My God. And you see where it took them a fucking 8 months to choke slam me or whatever. And we got the big pop. And then with this, we switched with Taz, which nobody called that.
Right.
And people say that a lot of the guys here and some of the office here, and maybe Taz might even say it himself, that he was never over as he is now. Of course, no, everybody agrees to that. But he said I was instrumental in getting that whole thing. It wasn't me. It was Taz. It was the office. It was Paulie. It was all in the right timing. It was a well-designed thing, and boom, 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 put us together. And he's the hottest he's ever been. He's actually brought himself out to where he should be, because he's a talented kid.
Yeah. Wow.
And he's real dedicated to the business, and we get along pretty well. We don't hang together. We do we're business, we're professionals, and then beyond that, of course, we might eat together once in a while, but
Right.
you know, but it's basically business between me and Taz, and so that's how basically I got here.
What do you like so much about ECW? Like, what's your favorite points?
I like working weekends only. I like the locker room. I like the way it's run. Could be, you know, I like to see some things different, but it's run. You know, it's been going on this. It's been doing well so far, so good. So I'm not gonna. I wouldn't want to see anything change. What I like about it.
What don't you like about it after we say that?
Oh, what don't I like about it? The only thing I might not like about it is when I get slammed through a fucking table when Sabu gets a hold of me. That's the only thing I might not like. Because, you know, I'm 165
right.
and I've had an operation on my back. I'm a little bit fucked up. I'm 40 years old. But, you know, I hate to say that because these guys here, you know what I mean?
Right.
How can I not say, if I see Sabu coming at me and I'm going through a table, how can I say, no, I don't want to do that?
Right.
And this before, Tommy Dreamer falls off the building and gets run over by a freight train.
Right.
He doesn't complain.
Right.
How can I say that? So, I like it here a lot, and I've made good friends here. I've had a big run with Todd Gordon, and which was a lot of fun. And Todd actually has turned out to be quite a big influence in my life now. And Sandman, I've met two guys that I became real close with. Outside of the ring, of course, with Todd Gordon. But inside the ring, we created a lot of entertainment for you people. You created a lot of entertainment for me personally because I always wanted to do something like that in the ring.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you always want to do something like that?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Who doesn't?
Don't you?
Oh,
Don't you
who
want to
doesn't?
fucking drop the camera and say, hey, let's put a wig on you and call you the 666, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, doing that deal with Todd, it just created itself, you know? And, I think, actually, Todd Gordon's never been in the ring, to that status, that him and I to that level. And it was fun for him, I'm sure. He'd come out with a lot of bumps and bruises, so by. He hit me so hard one time with his knuckle 3 times in the temple. Because we're not wrestlers.
Right.
We don't know how to wrestle real good. We're not, you know, so smooth that,
Right.
you know, he's not going to squeeze my neck so hard it's going to pop. Oh, my God. He hit me as hard as he can with his knuckle 3 times right here in the temple. I'll never forget it. I couldn't eat for a fucking week. Because we don't know how to wrestle.
Right.
And for him and I to have any type of to satisfy these hungry fucking fans
Oh,
here,
shoot.
That's what you're going to have to do.
as we got to beat each other up. So I had talked to him. I said, Todd, you know, not as a real. I said, hey, if we're gonna fight, buddy.
Yeah.
We may throw a little twist of entertainment in there, but if we want to get laughed at, we can try to do different shit. But I'm not getting laughed at,
Right.
and I don't think. And our big blow off in November to remember, I got a standing ovation when I got back to the dressing room
Yeah.
for the guys because they know I've never been in a match.
Right.
Right.
So, and I basically designed that whole thing, and you know, and the psychology and stuff like that was kind of. I mean, both of us did, but and it got us through. It wasn't the greatest thing you guys ever seen, but it damn sure wasn't the worst
Right,
thing
Right.
nobody's seen.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I was real happy with myself for that, and I accomplished a lot, and I'm glad I did it, and I don't want to do it a lot because I'm not made for that.
Right.
All right. Have you had any offers from the other big two since you've been really in the spotlight?
I've talked to Kevin. Kevin Sullivan's a real good friend of mine. I worked with Kevin Sullivan for years and years, and and I call him every once in a while, and every month or so, every 2 months, just to be like I've done for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm up here looking for a job, but I've never asked him point blank, hey, I'd like to come in. I got a good spot up here.
Right.
He has mentioned to me a couple of times that, oh, you're doing good there, but we'd like to have you here, and you know what I mean. I'm not going to say no,
Right.
because I'm gonna. He didn't say I'd like to have you here tomorrow. He
Right.
said, well, you know, we'd like to have you here again with us someday. And I said, well, that's fine. You know, one day if it's feasible, yeah, we'll do it.
Right. Right. Nothing.
Is the
from
manager a role or back in rent?
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Nothing from Titan. Titan hasn't made any feelers out or anything like that. Yeah.
And if they did, they would have to go through, especially if Titan called, because I think Vince and Paulie talk, and Bruce Pritchard
Right.
talks, not on a regular basis, but I don't think they're going to call me. They might call Paulie and say, hey, we'd like to have Fonzie,
Right.
and I would like Paulie to handle my thing to go there if I did go there.
Right.
And if I was done here, and if Paulie thought that was the best thing for me, but I'm happy where I'm at right now. Vince called me, offered me $100,000 tomorrow, I wouldn't leave here.
Yeah.
Because I'll be gone all the time. I'm making good money here. I work on weekends. I got a good spot.
Right.
I'm happy. There's no pressures here, and I like my bosses,
Yeah.
and I like my company. So $100,000 wouldn't get me out of the door here. Now everybody's can be bought.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Right.
like if TBS called me, said we want you that this is not gonna happen.
Right.
But here's
Hypothetically.
a 5-year contract for $125,000 a year to referee.
Right.
I'm gonna approach. I said, Paulie, here's a $500,000 in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's gonna give me his blessing and say go.
Right.
After we choke slam you and put you through a couple tables.
Yeah.
But business is business.
Right.
But nobody's really offered me come out and right off or offer me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But it may happen.
Have you the way that WCW right now has pretty much surpassed WWF as #1? Did you foresee that? Could you see that coming? Or?
Well, I saw something coming because I saw all the talent flocking there.
Yeah.
Somebody's making a major play. They're tired of being number 2. They've never actually been in the plus, red and green, the
Right.
thing. It's always basically got by, or they always lose money. But Turner's never cared because it's a tax write-off. Well, the political bullshit.
Right.
But I saw all the talent. I said Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man, everybody's going to there's big money. I said something's going to happen.
Right.
And Vince wasn't offering any contracts at the time. That's why he was losing money. He started off with the commentators going over there, Gene and
Right.
all those guys. It was a little, Bobby the Brain was it was making whatever he was making in New York, say 100,000, way more than that. And Vince wanted him to take a pay cut because, and he didn't want to, and they offered him more money.
Right.
So why not go? You know what I mean? Vince is loyal, but he's not loyal. But now he's learned, I think, from that. Vince wasn't offering anybody no guaranteed contracts. Vince offered you a contract, but not guaranteed. Like WCW said, here's $185,000 a year, 3 years, guaranteed money. I don't care if the fucking company blows up in a fucking missile crisis.
Right.
You're gonna get your money.
Right.
So that's what everybody was looking for. By that happening, of course, I said to myself and a few of my friends, I said, that's going to be the company to work for. Just look at them. They're going to have to hit. They got every fucking talent in the world.
Yeah.
What does Vince got left, Harley? A few guys.
True.
What do you think is going to happen in a year? You think with the situation that is now?
I think, now that's a good call. I was trying to predict the future. I think they're going to do good, and they're eventually everything recycles and goes down, and
Yeah.
Vince ain't giving up nothing.
Yeah.
Vince is not putting his head between the cell legs and running for cover. Vince is trying harder. He's trying different methods, and he's got the contracts out now. He's getting different talent. It may take him a long time, because how long can Hulk Hogan wrestle?
Right.
How long can Macho Man go? Probably for another 5 years, but they can go. They're great guys, but eventually those guys are going to want to retire
Right.
and get out of the business. So, and Vince likes to create his own stars too. So Vince is pretty good. I think it's going to recycle like it always does.
Yeah. Huh. Did you see, when you were in Titan, did you see a lot of the younger stars like emerging now, like Michaels and Hart? Did you see it back then, that they had a lot of star potential in them as someone being...
I knew Shawn Michaels did because he was a talented guy and it was well liked, and he was dedicated to Vince. I knew he was going to eventually be the champion, or because he was so into his thing.
Yeah.
Work hard. And Brett is just a natural talent from childbirth, probably, because his whole background.
I guess we can get into like some stories now, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've covered everything. This is great.
Yeah, this is cool.
Here's a story for you guys.
Cool.
1985, it was Kevin Sullivan and Purple Haze. And Purple Haze, Mark Lewin, had a condo in Hawaii, lived there. But we brought him in, he was doing a Purple Haze thing. And Kevin Sullivan was there, and he's real tight with Mark Lewin, and I became real tight with. We all rode together and lived together, did everything together. And Peter Mavia's wife, Leah, was going to run a joint show with Jim Crockett's promotion out of Mid-Atlantic, the Japanese office out of Japan, and a few guys here and there. Kevin Sullivan, Mark Lewin, of course, and they were all going to Hawaii for this show in 1985, and I said, "Oh, please take me, Kevin, see if you can get me in a referee." And they said, they did me a favor. Mark Lewin knew the Leah's wife and Rocky Johnson, and they were all putting the show on. And they got me a little guarantee. I think it was $300 and my round trip ticket and 2 days pay, which was fine. I just wanted to go because I've been stuck in Florida. I don't go nowhere. All the wrestlers come in from all over the world telling me these stories, and I never get to leave Florida. You know, yeah, I'm happy with my job, but you know, I want to get out too and go to different territory.
Yeah.
So they got me my ticket, my deal. We get out there, and there's 20,000 people in Aloha Stadium. It's Ric Flair against their Hawaiian champion. What's his name?
Sivafi or
Sivafi. Wasn't a big Samoan.
No,
a good-looking Samoan guy.
Well, like Snuka, like a younger Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the deal. So here comes Crockett, guys. Crockett flies them all in on his own expense. They were going to split the gate or whatever, or the monies. So, and I'm with the Crockett guys because I know them at the hotel. I know all of them. There's Dusty, Magnum, all those guys, the Wyndham, Manny Fernandez, Dusty, and Jim Crockett. He's a big shot, you know what I mean? He's a big promoter. He has the suit, the Rolex. He's a millionaire guy. He walks in like, here's my crew, and the Japanese officers already there. And they're real elite. They're elite class of themselves, you know what I mean? They don't care about the money. And, and they, you know. So we walk in, and there's Lauren Anderson, who had some type of heat with Jim Crockett, I guess from years before. So Jim Crockett walks in with all his boys behind him, everybody, and he says, "What the fuck is he doing here? I told you I wasn't going to work. My guys aren't working if he's on the card." Now, Lauren and Crockett are having a verbal, loud confrontation. "Fuck you, get out of here," all back and forth.
Yeah.
And now Rocky Johnson's the promoter of the show, and Leah, "Oh, calm down, we're sorry, it's a misunderstanding, let's work this thing out." And everybody gets calmed down, and I guess Lauren has his local crew that worked on the card with the Japanese. Plus, there was 4 different parties there.
Right.
You know, the Crockett's, the Japs, the locals, the Sullivans. I was with my guys.
Right.
Yeah, I was just a guest, but I'm gonna stay with my guys. I'm not gonna jump on Laura's side because I live in the States with these guys.
Yeah.
Plus, I work for Crockett and everything. So, so everything gets calmed down back and forth, and now they're still going back and forth a little bit. One guy, Crockett's sitting down, and Lauren's over there. They're going back and forth, talking, arguing about something that happened a while back. So finally, Lauren Anderson got a full beer, walked over and poured it on Crockett's head. Now everybody jumps up, Crockett, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah.
Now all Lauren's boys jump up and get behind.
Damn.
Like a gang war kind of
like
thing.
and all Dusty's boys
Yeah.
get up and get behind Crockett. "Come on, you motherfuckers!" And Johnson's going fucking nuts, and There's 20,000 people, and come on, we're leaving. So Crockett said, let's go, boys. And they're begging, please stay, because the car's been announced. Flair's there.
Yeah.
So finally, somehow they got Orrin out of the dressing room because he had no pull.
Right.
I mean, who was Orrin and not Double A?
Right.
Lars Anderson.
Yeah.
So I guess they ixnayed him sometime, and we had the match, and
Unbelievable.
it was a good story, and still Crockett was a little pissed off at the whole ordeal, and he got fucked on his monies, and you know what I mean? Because I guess promoter had all the money in the box or whatever, and then said, "Oh, we'll send you a check and all that shit." So you know how that goes, and fucking Crockett just spent $40,000 bringing his guys out, paying his plane bills and all this, and Terry Allen's dad flew out with the whole 9 yards. So we were all in the hotel room, and I ended up going out with Jimmy Crockett, Ric Flair, a couple of models, a couple of other people. We went out and ate and went to the Marriott, and they all had suites. We all ended up in Jimmy Crockett's room. He had a big suite, twice as big as this fucking place, and lavish. You know, Hawaii, he wants to be the big star. You know what I mean? He's a millionaire, so what?
Yeah.
So we're all sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I can't believe that I'm there, but I said, this isn't really I shouldn't be in here, but why not? I can be in here. But they invited me. I'm with Crockett. I'm with Flair, and Flair loves me because I did all of his matches with Wyndham's and all that. We did some sensational matches, and I was always there for my counts. I always take the big bump, whatever they wanted. So Jimmy Crockett comes in. We're all partying in the room and drinking and talking and coffee and food and all that shit. And Crockett's pacing back and forth and shit. So I'm sitting on a chair like something like this, and he runs over and gives me a clothesline, a shooting clothesline.
Crockett?
Bam, Jim Crockett. So I take a fucking bump. I said, what the fuck is... Now I gotta come up with something witty to say, or else I'm gonna look like a piece of shit. Or I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna fight this guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna work for it one day again, or what am I gonna do? Get up, hey, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kick your ass. I gotta be diplomatic about this now. Because who else is gonna go? He's so frustrated at the situation. He lost all that money. He shouldn't have did what he done. So he clotheslined and took the bump.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what can I fucking say now? I don't want to bury myself. I should get up and punch the guy in his fucking head.
Yeah.
Fuck him up.
Yeah.
I'm a human being too. Don't fuck with me.
Right.
But since he was so powerful in the business at that time, I said, either I'm going to bury myself or get a job or something's going to happen here. So I jumped up and I said, Crockett, you know what? The whole room got silent because nobody could believe what this guy did.
Yeah.
Everybody turned around and said, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? The girl saying, wow, what happened?
Yeah.
So I said, Crockett, you know what? Now there's Double A, there's some big motherfuckers. And I looked at them all in the face. I said, Crockett, you're the only motherfucker in this room I let get away doing that. And everybody popped, yeah, fine, yeah. So, and Jimmy Crockett came over and hugged me, and I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking, oh my God. So,
Thinking quick.
yeah, so Crockett treated me good there. I made nothing but money in his little territory.
That's great.
How about one time Barry Windham got shot in the leg by Steve Kern with a 9mm?
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay.
I heard.
We used to do TVs on Wednesday and drive down to Miami.
Right.
We used to go down the Alligator Alley with a long drive, boring long drive. Every Wednesday, if you drive down to Miami once in a while, you have a good time. But every Wednesday, brother, it's a fucking job. Oh my God, 5 hours in the car, driving.
That sucks.
So we used to stop in Alligator Alley. Everybody was buying guns and, race cars and fancy.
Where the Piper thing happened too?
Yeah,
We'll talk about that.
Pretty much same stretch. So out in the middle of the Everglades, hell, you can shoot a gun, you can play, you can jack off, you can run naked, you can fly an airplane, anything you want to do.
Yeah.
So they all had guns, and I was with Barry Windham, Steve Kern, I forgot, it was one other guy and myself, and they were making way more money than me, so they had more toys than me. You know, I had a 1 through 57, and they had a whole trunk with all kind of shit in there. So we stopped and we would shoot. This wasn't uncommon we would do it all the time, just stop and shoot at things, pull out the guns and spend an hour just shooting up whatever we see. And Kern, Wyndham, here's the pole, like with a sign on it, like a stop sign or something. It was a round, thick, metal, hardcore pole.
Right.
And a sign on top of it. And Wyndham's like standing over here, like just 10 feet away, and Kern's way over there. He says, I bet you I can hit that pole on a quick draw. And I said, bullshit. So you hear ding, oh fuck! went in him. So, but the bullet slowed down enough when it ricocheted, but it penetrated him.
Fuck.
The big hole, but you can see the bullet.
Oh.
And it wasn't bleeding profusely.
Right.
But there was a hole where you could barely see the lead in there. And Barry's, oh fuck, man, he shot me. He shot me. He was working, but it was the real thing.
Yeah.
So he got a little pocket knife and dug the bullet out, taped it up, and worked that night against Harley Race.
Holy shit. Wow. Unbelievable.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What happened with Piper and the alligator?
Oh shit, let's see who was in the car. It was, you remember Frank Dusick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Um,
Dusick brothers, right?
this was the son.
Okay.
The Dusick brothers were the older guys, and this was Frank Dusick, who was a commissioner out in Dallas,
Yeah,
Auditorium and all
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah. Okay.
He was a wrestler too, and his dad was the great Dusick brothers.
Oh, okay.
And all that. So, let's see. It was Piper just had come in. He was hot, red hot in the Mid-Atlantic. And he came in to do like our TV, Miami, and then probably Jacksonville or go home. Or it might have been just TV in Miami because they were the same day and go back. So, and I had met Piper before, and we all clicked and everything. So,
Was that pretty cool?
oh yeah, Piper was a great guy. He'd wrestle on TV in Mid-Atlantic against somebody that pretty much everybody knew he was going to beat up, like a job guy or something, beat the fuck out of him, bam, bam, bam. He'd always give the kid $25, $35, $50 bill. Thank you, you know what I mean? A guy like that.
Really?
So yeah, Piper's a Class A guy. Classy guy. I love Piper. So we were all riding down. Now this is his first trip to Florida. And he says, I would like to see an alligator. Don't worry, you're going to see a million of them on the way down. We're going right through the Everglades. So we were driving, and the road, it was, you come out of Immokalee, that road. So we're going down, I guess it's the Alligator Alley, whatever you want to call it. And there's a canal that runs parallel with the road. And the alligator was sunbathing on the banks of the canal. And our Piper is going fucking nuts. Oh my God, look at that one, look at that one. We're driving 65. He says, damn, I wish I had a gun. Frank Dusick says, now we weren't all into guns, but Frank Dusick had an oath. Frank Dusick says, I got one.
Sullivan was in the car too.
So it was me, Sullivan, Piper, and Frank Dusick. Dusick says, I got one, but it's an old 38. Don't even shoot straight. It's this old thing I got in my bag for in case I get hijacked or something. He says, oh, pull over, please, next alligator.
Yeah.
So we pull over, we see one. It's about as long as this couch, 5, 6 foot, a nice one. But it's from here, it's about 20, maybe, let's see, a couple hundred, no, that's, maybe 75 feet was the length of the canal. So the gator was on the width of the canal. So the gator was on the other side of the canal, plus there was a little bit of land, then the road, and then the canal, and the gator was way over there. So the odds of fucking Piper hitting this fucking gator with a fucking broken down 38 or but you got better chances of hitting a lotto with fucking Philly, right? So he pulls it out and just quick aims, shoots it, and fucking hits the gator right in the fucking neck. You can't believe it, right? We said, wow, what a shot.
Yeah.
So the gator starts to hyperventilate on the bank on the other side. It's starting to go in like a spasm. He got hit by a 38 slug.
Yeah.
He's fucking dying. And he puts the gun in his pocket. Just then, the fucking game warden come by. And if you shoot an alligator, it's posted. They can take your car. You can put you to jail.
Yeah.
You can get more trouble. I mean, it's worse than to kill something like that than fucking. You can shoot a a person.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can go into your house without no warrants. If they think you got gators in your house, meat or whatever is illegal, you're in trouble, buddy. So the game warden goes by, we all wave to him. The alligators go like this on the other side. It was funny as shit. So he goes by, thank God. And now he's out of sight, and now Piper, the gator, kind of falls in the water and goes still. Now there's other alligators in the bushes, down there, swimming by and shit. And maybe they sense something, I don't know, but now Piper gets this fucking crazy idea. He wants to go retrieve the gator and bring him home with him.
Yeah.
And Kevin's on, oh, that's a great idea, but let me get... now they're both undressing in their underwears, right?
Yeah.
White underwear. Now, you know, you'd think the guys got nice, cool underwear, you know, white Hanes underwear, the fucking two guys. So they sticking out like this, like so funny. I can see it in my mind. So Kevin says, I'll go downstream a little bit, and I'll get in the water, like up to my knees or waist, and I'll splash the waters, and I'll draw all the alligators to me. So when I do that, you swim across and get the gator.
Yeah.
And we got him.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
So Piper says, yeah, that sounds good. So fucking Kevin's taking his boots off and he's in the water splashing, right? And you hear gator. They're not real aggressive,
Right.
but I guess they had felt something that day, the sense that one of his cousins was shot or something wasn't right, and they were a little pissed off because this is a true story.
Yeah.
So so Kevin's in the water splashing, but he sees that some of the gators are coming towards him. And Piper starts to get out, and I was about up to here, still going to start swimming.
Yeah.
I guess he gets a couple strokes, and the gator that he shot was actually working. He got shot, but it didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And as soon as he seen that fucking Piper, he let Piper get in the water, up to here, didn't move.
Yeah.
Let him get a couple strokes, and then the gator turns right towards Piper and starts fucking, they move pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right towards fucking Piper,
Yeah.
and fucking he all bailed. I'm gonna bail in this boy. So he got out. We never got the gator. We all got dressed, and that's the story.
That's
That's awesome.
But just one of the stories, and he still talks about it today.
That's crazy.
I hit let's see, I had Muda. You know the great Muda.
Right.
They sent him to Florida because of Matsuda.
Right.
Before he was a great Muda, wrestled as a ninja.
Right.
To train and learn some American style and stuff like that. And who they put him with was me, because I'm the referee. They put him with me. I drive him around, got him over this thing. I had Angelo Mosca's kid, Angelo Mosca Jr., which is a correctional officer now. He wanted to be in the business and was a pretty good hand, but it wasn't done. Didn't want to go through with it, but he was into it for a while. And a guy named Bruce Thorpe, which was a ring announcer and stuff. So I got a fucking Canadian, a fucking Japanese, and another Tampa kid that was in the car. We had a Cadillac. Right, in the Cadillac, because the Miami trip was long, we can get them for $29 in Florida. Right, in Cadillac, why wear all our cars out? So on the way back from Miami, going down Alligator Alley, bam, there's a fucking alligator so big. I'm driving like 100 miles an hour because there's nothing, and there's a big Cadillac, and the fucking gator walks out on a road, and I couldn't avoid him. Bam, I ran over his head. Boom. When we slammed our brakes, the Japanese guys going nuts. They're going nuts. So I slammed our brakes. We turn the car around. We point the lights. We all get out. Now the gator.
Nighttime or daytime?
This is at night, like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's why they're crossing the roads at night, because the road's warm. They're going to the other pond, and they're moving around at night. And it's not uncommon to hit a gator on that stretch of land. Now it's a little more because it's more built up, but and I like gators too. I could just skin them. So I said, I wanted to take him home because I didn't bust him up real bad. I just ran over his jaw and I broke his jaw. And he was like comatose. He was like unconscious, but he wasn't dead. But we really didn't know that. So we pick him up and we try. It takes 2 of us to pick him up. and we'll put him in the trunk of the Cadillac. Now he can't fit in the trunk of the Cadillac because the Cadillac's not long enough.
Yeah.
So we got to fold him a little bit. That's how big the Gator is, right? So we get him in there, we close the trunk, boom, we get back in the car, we're driving. Now we got 150 miles to go to hit Tampa. So we're about an hour down the road, got about 100 miles left, and all of a sudden you start hearing, oh, now he comes back, he's regaining it. Now he's going to the spastics, and he's flopping around in the trunk. All our bags are back there, this fucking Gator, they twist.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when they bite a deer or they bite their things, they can't chew like this. They got to bite, they go around in circles and twist and tear the meat off.
Right.
And they
Right.
get the hunk of meat. So he was twisting in there and doing all kind of natural shit. And then everybody's going nuts. The Japanese go, oh, we come through the back seat. And he was really going nuts because this is his first weekend from Japan, you know? Right? He was this fucking maniac from Florida. Barely spoke any English. Ooh, ah, that's all he said. And turns out to be a great guy, and what a talent to have, right?
Well, imagine what he turned out to be.
He's one of the biggest stars. He's
Yeah.
the top 3 stars over there,
Yeah.
I would say. So now we get to the hotel because we all carpool. We all meet at the same hotel on I-4 and 50th Street at the Ramada Inn. We all leave our cars there and we carpool. So when we get there, there's about 5 or 6 of us pulling up almost at the same time. You know what I mean? Because we're all leaving at the same time. Maybe 10 minutes later, 5 minutes. But I got the trunk open with a big alligator, and he's alive. Now he's settled down. He's back to he's dying.
Right.
And I look at him real careful, and his eyes, you know, blinking and stuff. So I know he's alive, and everybody knows he's alive. He said, "Oh," but I knew his jaw was broken because I could see, and I was poking him and stuff, and he wouldn't.
Right.
You know, he couldn't open his jaw or
Right.
close it. Had no power. It was broken. So now I got a whole fucking audience there.
Right.
So Bass, the Japanese guy, the Mosca, the Sullivan, whoever was there. It was about 7 or 8 of the boys, you know.
Right.
They're all amazed at an alligator. You know, everybody sees them all the time,
Right,
but
yeah.
you got one in the trunk, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's alive, you know, he's blinking at you. So I said, what can I do to get over with the boys, especially the foreign guys, the Japanese, the Canadians and all that. So I said, I know. So I opened the gator's mouth like this, and I stuck my head in his mouth. I knew it was broken. He couldn't get me. And everybody popped. Oh my God, you can't believe it. They were thinking, that was funny as
That's
shit.
nuts.
That's great.
Yeah, that's another alligator story.
Probably tons of alligator stories from down there, huh?
Yeah, 3 or 4 was, but those are the 2 of the best ones.
Really?
Any like shoot fights between wrestlers that ever got out of hand?
Were you down there for the Luger Brody thing?
Yeah, we.
Yep, I refereed the match.
Oh, you did?
It was War Memorial, Fort Lauderdale.
Is it true that Luger just got out of the cage and?
Yeah, for one, I think it was a misunderstanding because Luger was relatively real green in the business, real green, and Brody's been around for years and years, and you know what I mean. Everybody, and he just came in different territories, worked a week and left.
Right.
Bring Bruce and Brody in for the week, you know, big thing like we bring Abby in here or somebody in here, and they're gone, and all to bring the houses up. He makes his money, and everybody's happy. So they brought Brody in for the weekend, and we're going to put him with our new star.
Right.
The cage. I don't know how that worked out, but it was a cage match, and there were different dressing rooms, and they really didn't communicate that much before the match started, so they didn't get their, you know, their tactics down or whatever you want to call them. I guess Brody probably thought, well, maybe the kids just follow me in the ring. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll leave them do it, bam, 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 in and out. And Luger didn't understand really the basics of the business that well yet. Obviously, this shows of his ignorance. Now he's smart now, but he was ignorant that night. I guess he did. They locked up the cage, and the bell rung, and I guess Luger tried to lock up with him. There was no response from Frank Goodish, Bruiser Brody. That he wrestled as Frank Goodish before it was Bruiser Brody in Florida. Yeah, that was his name.
Oh, wow.
Then he went to Bruiser Brody, the thing, and this and that. So I guess Luger went to lock. What I remember, Luger went to lock up, and like Brody wouldn't really lock up with him because he didn't fucking move yet.
Yeah.
So Luger says, so backs off, and Luger goes to grab an arm bar, and the guy shakes it off. You know?
Yeah.
This is like Luger, it wasn't working with him, or I'm not saying it doesn't work, but
Right.
it wasn't going through the
Right.
traditional
Right.
easy motions like the wrestlers usually do. And,
Feeling each other out and stuff.
yeah. So Luger's getting a little worried here. Not worried, but he doesn't realize what's happening. He says, damn, he's not used to this. He's used to grabbing a guy and
Right.
flipping a guy and,
Right.
you know, kind of manhandling him a little bit. And that wasn't the case. So Luger got, I don't want to say more scared. He got confused.
Right.
This has never happened before. Usually I can, you know, have a match and
Yeah.
things aren't working out.
I guess he was like the big star there too.
Yeah, and I don't even think, yes, he was the big star. We were pushing him.
Yeah.
And I don't actually think that Brody ever threw a punch at him or threw a knee or kicked him or might have pushed him off a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, get away from me. But just that he was intimidating looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he had that Brody look. He had all those marks on his head like the Sheik and all those guys. He looked pretty vicious.
Right.
And Luger was beautiful, had a mark on his body. If he got a little pimple, he'd cry. And, but Luger's made more money than all of us put together here, and more than Brody's ever made. But God bless Brody. So it got to a point where Luger got so confused. I'm not going to use the word scared, but I use the word scared. Got so confused and scared that 4 minutes into the match, he just said, either he said, fuck this, or said, I'm leaving, or one of those two things. He didn't say, he said something right before he left out. This was years ago now, guys.
Yeah.
And he climbed the cage, fucking jumped out, and ran to the dressing room.
What were you thinking at the time?
Ding, ding, ding. I'm going home because it's a 4-hour drive home. Good, I'm glad it's over. Let them settle it. It's not my job. I'm not the booker. I'm not the boss.
Yeah.
I'm
Did they
not
settle it? Or?
Yeah, of course they did. It's misunderstanding.
Yeah. Huh.
Don't come up to a fucking legend and fucking try to lead him through what he knows how to do the best.
All right.
Listen to me, kid.
Right, right.
You idiot.
That's crazy.
But look at Luger turned out to be a fucking millionaire guy. He's
Right.
made more money. Yeah, but I bet he makes over $500,000 a year now.
And he
Oh,
owns
well, that's just the low figure.
he owns a gym and everything.
Nothing but money.
Wow.
I got hurt a few times. Let's see, one time real bad. I got like 70-something stitches. It was Wahoo McDaniel and Sergeant Slaughter, Greensboro Coliseum for the belt, whatever belt it was,
Right.
heavyweight belt. And the thing was, Slaughter had rolled out, grabbed the belt, was going to roll in, hit Wahoo with it. But as he rolled in, Wahoo chopped him, dropped the belt. Now Wahoo's got the belt. Slaughter's backing into a turnbuckle and backed me right up into the turnbuckle. Now Slaughter's a big guy, and Wahoo couldn't see me. So I'm behind him, stuffed in the turnbuckle. So Wahoo went to come down like this with the belt, this way instead of flat, and Slaughter moved and hit me right here. And you see that big scar right here?
I can see it.
You can see the big fucking line?
Yep.
Anyway, hit me, knocked me out. They had to rush me to the hospital and got like either 76 or 86 stitches. And that was one of the times I got hurt. Was, you know, wow. It was,
Right.
it was pretty wild. I've gotten hurt a lot of times. Oh shit. More times than I can remember. Been knocked out a few times. Had a fan knock me out one time. Walking back from the Eddie Graham Sports Complex in Orlando after a hot finish. It was like the assassin screwed Dusty from where I held his tights. I didn't see, and the fans were hating me. And so, like, the assassin was led first by 20 security, and I was there by myself walking back. They didn't care about Bill Alfonso at the time
Right.
because, and this fan just sucker punched me from behind and knocked me out. And, yeah, so I paid some dudes to help him beat up a little bit. You guys got any questions to ask me about?
Yeah, what happened with, I guess, WWF and Raw when you and Taz came out there?
Oh, WWF and Raw. Well, you guys seen the tape, right, where we jump over.
Right.
Well, our strategy was Taz and I were going to walk down there just to promote ourselves, and so what? If Vince didn't like it, if he liked it, if he knew about it, if he didn't know about it, so what? So the deal was everybody saw us coming. The guys in the ring, the referees, the security, everybody saw us coming because we started from way up on top of the Hershey, Pennsylvania Coliseum or whatever it's called. And I had the big sign, Sabu fears Taz. I was blowing my whistle, so they knew we were coming.
Yeah.
The whole building started chanting ECW, ECW. So we were going to jump the rail and get on their TV and just do our sign. If they wanted some of us, fine. If they didn't, if they want to let us go. But I don't think anybody, if anybody knew we were coming, it was only 1 or 2 people.
Right.
Max.
Right.
So Taz and I both jumped the rail at the same time. And the camera guy, the photographer, which is not his job, it's security's job, got in Taz's face, which he shouldn't have done it. He gets paid to shoot pictures, not to stop a fan or a wrestler or whatever. Taz pushed him out of the way, down the guy went. Taz could have killed him, down the guy went. Now I'm walking towards Taz, and the security guard hooks me from behind. They're scared of Taz, but I didn't intimidate them at all, so they were going to grab the weakest point, right? Which makes sense. So they grabbed me, the guy grabbed me like in a reverse chin lock in a chokehold, and was choking me out and backed me up against one of the rails. Meanwhile, Taz grabbed the sign for me, and I said, Taz, I'm okay. So we just want to get our point across.
Right.
So the photographer that he knocked down, instead of getting mad at Taz, and I've worked with this guy for 2 years, or over a year and a half when I was a WWF superstar, so I know the guy.
Right.
So he knows who I am. He should have known better. Maybe did Vince let these guys jump over? Maybe Vince didn't. They're not supposed to be here. Let security take care of them, or should I do something? The guy's trying to be a hero. So while the security guy had me hooked, the guy was fucking kicking me in my sides, right in my kidneys. That security guard, and I got your number because the next time we see you, I'm gonna ask you why you did that, because I didn't like it, and we knew each other. I knew I was getting in your area, but who the fuck are you to do that to me? You should have let security handle it. That's not, you don't get paid to be a security guard, do you? No. So we'll straighten that out one day. So he hit me, kicked me 4 or 5 times. I mean, real stiff, so bad. When it was all over and all the agents came down and broke us all up, and me and Tess were on our way out, that I collapsed on the way back to the van down. I had to stop and take a breather because this guy, and I had like a bruised kidney for about 2 or 3 weeks for that. But I mean, I think we should run Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because that whole crowd that night was with us.
Right.
The whole crowd. In fact, Sandman and I talked about it the other day. We're looking for a building there.
That'd be cool.
Wow.
That'd be good.
If our TV goes in there, I'm sure it does.
I think it does, because we did, Harrisburg one time?
Harrisburg.
How would the people know so much about that? I mean, they chanted ECW the minute we start coming on there, like I've never heard it before. Like it was at our bingo hall, but double the power, triple the power. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like the chills going.
When did you guys first find out that you were going to do that?
After Paulie and them did the pay-per-view that Sunday night.
Huh. Was it the next day, or was it?
It was the next day. It was Sunday night, and then we did Monday Night Raw.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I found out I found out that day because I was flying home to Tampa, and he said, "Hey, stay over." I said, "Stay over. We're gonna go down and do something else." I said, "Cool."
Do you have anything else? Like any crazy stories, or?
Yeah, we're just gonna keep pumping here, and then we'll come up with something.
Any Flair stories? Everybody wants to know about Ric Flair. What's
Woo, boy, what a legend he is.
Crazy stories at hotels?
Oh yeah, Flair's crazy. What a great guy. What a Class A guy. What a non-selfish guy. Very giving guy. And a lot of times we would travel together in Florida because I was a referee, and he'd fly in for this 7-day run and then fly out and go to another territory.
Right.
So, and he'd always want me to ride with him because I was easy. I was no threat to him, and you know what I mean. We could click, and and he's a big shot, pay for all my shit, which was great. Hans, let's go get a steak. Boom, don't worry, I'll make money. Put your money away. He used to waste more shit. I'd follow him around for those 7 days. Like every day he would stop in a 7-Eleven or buy a comb, toothpaste, mouthwash, shampoo, and leave it at the building. use it one time. We'd buy, $12 bottle of Paul Mitchell. Use it one time. He was just so into his not being wasteful, but it wasn't so much on his mind, traveling, flights, or whatever. So I said, I seen him losing all the shit. So all week long, that Monday came in, I would get all the shit he left and put it in the bags. At the end of the week, I had a bag of shampoo, brushes, combs, gum, newspapers, magazines, watches, all kind of shit. And I said, Flair, look this is all week long. This is what you do every time you come to the territory. And he laughed about it and said, yeah, I'll try to straighten up one day. But
Yeah.
he used to party, and actually he lived his deal. He was Ric Flair when he said limos, women, what's his famous saying?
Let jet flying, limousine riding.
High profile, all that shit. It's actually true because he did. Stayed at the best hotels, wore the best clothes, wore the Rolexes, limousines, the whole 9 yards. And what I always try to outdo everybody was he could, because he was making the biggest payday, and he would buy. So we were like several different times. We were in bars, and it'd be just me and him and a couple of friends and stuff. And he'd order, bring me 40 kamikazes. It was just, the little bartender would bring 40 kamikazes, and we'd shoot them down. And I couldn't drink that much, but I mean, crazy stuff.
Didn't he like get in a hotel bar or something with just a fur coat on and nothing underneath?
I think he's done that a couple different times where only he could get away with it. Of course, he knew the hotel owners or something, but I remember one night in Atlanta, if his wife sees this, it was kind of innocent. But anyway, I guess we were all drinking pretty good, and the bar was full. I mean, it was late night. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, but the bar was full of fans and full of wrestlers and full of people and all kind of stuff. And Flair disappeared for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, here he comes with his robe on, drunk, singing, dancing and shit. He gets out there, and of course he got 4 or 5 people he's dancing with at the same time, doing up all night, stay a little longer, So we were all getting off because he's got his robe on, and all of a sudden he just peels his robe off, and he's got a pair of shoes, and this is his birthday suit. It was the greatest thing. And he just kept dancing for 20 minutes and woo, doing his thing. And nobody even blinked. Like, we all seen it, and we all just accepted it. Like, nobody ran up to him, tried to put the robe on him, and say, Rick, you're naked and shit. But then at the end of the dance or whatever, he put his robe on, and he went to his room, and that was the last time I seen him that night. But he was pretty wild. Actually, a great, great guy. Great guy.
What was the first time you met Rick Rude?
In Tampa. Before, I used to ride with Rick Rude a lot. We got along. We just he came in as Ravishing Rick Rude. Dusty brought him in. It was young, green, but hell of a talent already. I guess he had to work in Louisiana or wherever, but he came in and made a real good name for himself, and it took off from there. Now, I think when he left WCW, he was probably making $700,000 a year or more.
Right.
So I met him back then, and we still get along. In fact, I just talked to him the other day. He invited me to come up to Georgia and go to his fishing cabin with him. So I think I'm going to do that.
Huh. What about a woman? When was the first time you ever met her?
Man, she was a fan. She lived, I guess, in Daytona or somewhere around the Orlando area. She was a wrestling fan that sat ringside with either her mom or her boyfriend or her husband or something. Oh, must have been a boyfriend. She would sit at ringside every Sunday night in Orlando. And I guess she had wanted to slip some way into business, and she was very attractive. Everybody knows she's a good-looking woman. And I guess somehow she knew, Bill Otten, the photographer who comes to the arena sometime on a special occasion, got curly, kinky hair.
Sure.
Okay, you know if you've seen him or know of him. She was a friend of his, and that's when Kevin Sullivan was doing all his witch stuff, devil stuff.
Right down there.
Oh, speaking of Kevin, was that Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Ed the Bull Gantner shot himself. You guys know that?
Yeah. You want to talk about him? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk about him after Woman. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. I think he had problems, and we'll get into that, but look at these guys. Mulligan, I'm right in between them. This was somewhere in the mid-'80s. Look at Ron Simmons. He was the only black world champion.
Farouk.
Before he came from Farouk, and I trained him. I remember him and Dewey Forte training together, and Dewey fizzled out, and Ron was a natural at it. And there's my good buddy Dusty Rose, baby. Yeah. Great guy. I always had a lot of fun with Dusty. I learned a lot from him. Learned a lot. What a guy.
You ever meet Bill Watts?
Yeah, I worked. Bill Watts came into, I think Eddie Graham. Bill Watts learned a lot from Eddie Graham. Then Bill Watts left. I guess Bill Watts was one of the boys. Then he had a vision too, and he learned a lot from Eddie Graham, learned how to work, learned the business, and then went to Louisiana and ended up being his own promoter and ran that territory. But so every once in a while he'd come into Florida on like a 3-day tour, do TV, a couple of things, or tag with Dusty or something like that, and for a big thing. And yeah, I met him several times. And then he was one of the bookers there in Atlanta when I was there too. So actually I worked for him for a little while.
I guess you knew Mike Rotundo real well too.
Mike Rotundo, yeah. Married Barry Windham's sister.
Right.
Yeah, I met. Oh, Mike was one of the guys who took me to the hospital when Wahoo McDaniel hit me in Greensboro.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He was real well liked because he was a legitimate amateur, state, national caliber champion. So the Briscoes really liked him a lot. And I remember Mike, we were all working in Charlotte, and the pool was closed, and Mike Rotundo jumped the fence, and the fucking on top of the fence had like the barbed wire thing, and it ripped his balls and all the side. And he had like 100-something stitches.
Damn. That's crazy. Did you ever meet?
What happened with Woman? You didn't finish that story.
Oh, let me finish up Woman real quick. So, how I met Woman was at ringside, like I said, with a boyfriend or a friend of hers, which was a guy, and then she was a friend of photographers, and Kevin Sullivan was doing pictures with snakes and stuff, and Woman always dressed in black and was attractive, and I guess Bill Ott, the photographer, asked her would she take some pictures with Kevin, and then that's how we all met, and then they fell in love and eventually got married and stuff, but they're real close friends of mine, but I remember her from day one.
Were you ever around when Jim Herd was in?
Yes.
Over there?
Yes.
Did you think he was an idiot like everybody else? Or?
Well, I wasn't in a relationship with Jim Herd like in the office and stuff. I was always in the field and stuff, and Jim Herd would just come to the TVs, but I would deal directly with the agents and Dusty and stuff, and Jim Herd was like a step up of that, so I never... Everybody's an asshole, but, Jim Herd... I can't really say, Jim Herd, you're an asshole, because he wasn't really an asshole to me. I really didn't even really connect with the guy.
Right. I know, I guess Michael Hayes was down there a lot.
Yep. Michael Hayes, actually, they gave him the book. That's when Eddie Graham shot himself the same time that Hayes had the book in Florida. And I helped him out a lot because I was already in Florida for years and years, and Mike was a young booker and knew the business real well, but he didn't know Florida real well, and I did, so he was picking my brains for ideas, and I'd help him out of a lot of jams, and yeah, Mike's a good guy.
Old Briscoe, is it?
Jack and Jerry Briscoe?
What's that down there?
That's
Valentine?
Johnny Valentine, yeah. That was before me, I think. Yeah, that's way before me. But I remember one of my first year in the business, the first 6 months, we're doing a show in St. Pete. Now, remember I told you how I got started and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing a show in St. Pete, and I went to ask Jack something. I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Briscoe." He said, "If you fucking call me Mr. Briscoe one more time, I'm going to stretch your ass." Call me Jack, because you know what I mean? He didn't want to be insulted by like he was an older man. I was being... And then Bobo Brazil said, Jack, take it easy. He's just trying to be polite, you know what I mean? So, but then I learned, I was already accepted at that point.
Right.
Don't call me Mr. no more. You know, hey, I'm Jack. We work together every night. Let's boom. And I remember he did a match. He was with the match. This was another night, actually in the Bayfront Center again. He was working with. Oh, that's Paul Jones.
Right.
Number one. That's old Florida stuff. Because there's that guy, I couldn't remember his name. Stu Swartz, the referee. Yeah. So, I remember Jack Briscoe always did his match. It was Dory Funk Jr. So, Dory Funk went, put a spinning toe hold on him. And somehow, I got involved and I got a bump and my boot hit Briscoe right in the mouth and busted his mouth, and he had a swollen lip, and he had to go to Japan the next morning. So I didn't find out about it until, because I took a bump and I was down, and Briscoe went to another dressing room, and they took me to another one, so I didn't find out about it until 6 weeks later when he got back from Japan. Hey, you motherfucker, well, I thought about you for about 3 weeks while I was there. I couldn't eat for shit. It was totally accident, but
When was the first time you met Luna Vachon?
in Florida, when when she came in and they did the Mayhouse thing, Bob Roop gimmick, and she shaved half of her head and stuff.
That's up there. She was just on there.
Oh yeah, she was wild. Was her head shaved?
Yeah, her head was shaved and all.
Rewind it.
That was bizarre. She actually scared
Rewind
me.
it.
Rewind it.
She's huge now.
Did you work Florida when Dusty bought out? I guess Florida went through Florida and then became
PWF.
Yeah.
Right.
Diamond Dallas Page, the Nasty Boys.
Right.
Were you there at all for that?
Yeah, I was there for some of that, and it didn't.
What happened to that? Why didn't that take off?
I don't know. I guess there was too many hands in the pot. Things had changed because we used to put on our TV show.
Wasn't Dusty still with another company at that time, and they were allowing him to?
I think he was with Crockett.
Right, and they were just allowing him to use that as a feeder system or something like
Right, exactly, like a little farm team or something. But things got so expensive when they used to pay us to put our TV show on.
Right.
Now we had to pay them $5,000 a week. So I think it was economics.
that. Right. I think Dallas Page was down there, Nasty Boys, Scott Hall, Jimmy Del Rey. All those guys were down there.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing so far in ECW? What was your?
My favorite thing in ECW was getting the announcement last week that I was going to be in the main event in the first pay-per-view, and being when they say from the ground up, and we made this company, and I'm included in we because I've been here long enough, so when it has risen, I feel like I'm a part of the company. I guess it's been here 3, maybe 4 years, and I've been here getting close to 2 years, so I'm a part of the ground up. This had taken off maybe a year before I got here, so I was still on the stepping stones of the thing. The most exciting thing for me was the pay-per-view announcement and being a part of it and being in the main event especially. I liked a lot of things in ECW. I liked the Todd Gordon stuff that I'd done. That was fun. And I liked all the Bill Alfonso mayhem at first.
That was great.
I loved it and got had a lot of heat, and people actually wanted to fucking string me up by my balls and kill me. Actually, legitimately, there was several times outside after the show, the fans were so mad at me, and supposedly they're smart fans, but I just had them so mad at me that the cop said, you better stay in here for a while because there's several guys outside. They got baseball bats. They want to kill you. And we've never had that here before, so I stayed inside. That was pretty exciting to know that
Get that machine.
yeah, and I didn't know how to get it, but I was being directed and helped, being pushed that way by the office, of course. So that was pretty cool. Now I know how to do it, you know. Now I'm just on the back burner, just coasting. I haven't done anything exciting or real heat-wise. I don't need to.
Right,
I'm a character. It's like a Sandman. Like when people say ECW, they're going to expect to see the Sandman there. And if they say ECW, they're not going to expect to see Fonzie there or Bill Alfonso. But if they see that orange shirt with the hat blowing the whistle, they know that's a part of the show. So I feel pretty cool about that.
Cool. Want to eat?
Yeah, let's eat the pizza.
Right. It's a Terry Funk story.
It's not really a story. Just something happened at the arena where well, his brother loved me. Dory Funk loved me because he thought I was the greatest guy. Because I used to referee all his matches that he'd go 60 minutes with Mike Graham. Oh my God! I mean, those are long nights, especially when you got to drive home 300 miles.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit, you get blown up and tired. But I used to do all his matches, and I was right there for him at every one of them. Never missed a lick. You know what I mean? And he said, if he knew he was wrestling 60 minutes, which he would want to wear out his opponent or not let blow his load off with the people, so it'd go 60 minutes. He said, so don't think of it as 60 minutes. Think of it as 4 15-minute matches. They go by quick like that.
Right.
Boom. First 15 minutes, that's a match. 2 more matches to go, or 3 more. It's pretty cool. And Terry just, I remember riding with him from like Amarillo to Lubbock or something. He had a black Trans Am and just, like 140 miles an hour the whole way, just drinking and oh my God. He was drinking. I was scared shitless. He branded me one time. Remember when he used to bring a branding iron to the ring with him? He brought that and he hit the referee, which was me, and I moved or something, so he says, and I had a big thing on my head.
Oh, what happened with Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, okay. So I was kind of green in Florida still. I've been there a couple of years and accepted, and everybody liked me and everything, but the main event guys stuck together, like Dusty and the Ron Bass, those main event guys making the big money. We would do TV on Wednesday and have to drive down to Miami. But and the main event guys could fly down because they had promos late, and underneath guys didn't have promos, so they could get in the car and drive down that long-ass drive.
Right.
So Dusty and them used to fly down every week and then fly back. They'd be back home at 12:15. We'd be back home at 5:15. So one time, somebody missed out or Mike Graham didn't show up or something like that. They said, Fonzie, there's I was with the first 3 matches and thing, so they had to wait for me to do the last match. So they said, Dusty said, hey, you can go back with me in the plane. There's a spot for you, but don't get used to it.
Right.
You know? So I told the guys, hey, I can go back with Dusty. You guys can leave right now. They'll get home early instead of sitting there for 2 hours while they could be driving. So they loved it. They left, and I loved it because I was going back. I was going to fly back. And so after the show, we all jumped in the car, and there was 4 or 5 of us, whoever it was Mulligan, Dusty. Those are the 2 main guys, and whoever, Mike Graham or somebody. And we stopped at the stopped at the liquor store. Dusty says, what do you want to drink, kid? I said, I don't really drink that much. This is why I said, well, whatever you drink, I'll drink. So he bought a big bottle of Crown Royal. And I had just bought a house in Ybor City, so I didn't have a ride from the airport to my house because I was in the car with the guys that were driving from my house or whatever. So we jumped in the plane. It's only like a 40-minute flight in a small plane, and so they made me drink a lot. They made me power. They were getting me all fucked up. It was a plan, you know.
Right.
Once they got me, they were gonna rib me. Let's get drunk and fuck with them and shit. So I played along. I didn't realize what they were doing then, but I do now. So I guess I was playing along. So I drank and not being much of a drinker then. Now I can drink. I'm a bona fide drinker. I know how to drink from this business. It taught me how. Excuse me. So let's see. So we got drunk as shit. We landed in Tampa, and there was this big trash can right there, like a Rubbermaid trash can. They said, Fonzie, let's see how far you can kick that trash can. This is right in the airport, the little private airport coming out of the airport, which was okay, you know, kick the thing, the rubber thing flies.
Right.
They all laughing. I think I'm a stud too, you know what I mean? So I didn't know it was bolted down to the ground. It was a rib. I went to kick the trash can, the little big thing, it didn't sell, and I took the bump and all that. So now we get in the car, and Dusty said, how you getting home? I said, I don't know. He says, jump in my truck, I'll give you a ride home. But first we're going to stop at a bar and have a drink. So we stopped at a bar. Now it's late as shit. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. The bar closes. I am smashed unbelievably. You know, I'm not used to it. So Dusty says, where do you live? I said, Ybor City on 15th Street or I don't know, somewhere, you know, drunk like that. So we drive into my neighborhood and we drive around my block. And I'm trying to pick my house out. I can't because I just moved there like a month. But I'm so drunk I can't really pick my house out. So Dusty's getting frustrated at me. He's like, damn it, no. I said, come on, I got a family. I got to get home, too.
Right.
I said, well, I'm drunk. So he said something to me, and he was driving just like this, and I guess because I was drunk, well, we were best friends. You know, I worked for him. He was my boss. He loved me. He gave me, if I needed $1,000 at the bar, he would give it to me, whatever. He just said something offbeat, and I just hit him as hard as sucker punch him as hard as I could. Bam! Hard as I could right there. Big, and I got real big. And of course it didn't hurt him real bad, but you know, knocked his head against the window, and his eye poked up and shit. And now that didn't solve our house problem. We still couldn't find the house. So he said, Fonzie, I'm going to give you one more time around the block to pick out your house. If not, you're on your own. Okay. So, couldn't find the house, so we drove to the 7-Eleven, which is 2 blocks from my house. Called a cab on the payphone for me. Threw my bag out the truck and pushed me out the door. And told the guy at the store, he knew it was Dusty Rhodes. He said, hey, baby, what's my boy here until the cab gets here. And I didn't have any money on me. But he didn't know this, because all my money was, you know. So the next thing I know, I'm in the back of a cab with the police waking me up. This is like daylight. So the cop says, hey, if you don't got $44 to pay this guy, you're going to jail. So $44, now I'm awake. Now I know where I live. Now see right where I'm at the store that Dusty put me into. What happened was the cab driver picked me up at the store, drunk. I got into his cab, put my bag in there, had all my shit. Told him 4401 10th Street. Took me to 4401 10th Street. That was my house. My wife looked out the window, seen a cab there.
Didn't see you. You were pissed
I was there, and the cab driver couldn't wake me up, so he let the meter run for an hour and a half. $44-something. So I said, so the cop said, well, you were parked out in front of your house, and you wouldn't get out of the cab, but you owe this guy or else you're going to jail. I said, look, I don't have the money. Dusty Rhodes threw me out, told the whole story. He laughed. They took me home, got the money, and that was
That's
it.
cool.
Cool story.
And Dusty still tells the story. Ask him about it next time we talk.
I will definitely.
If he's in for it, talk business, and they say, hey, Fonzie was here. He said hello, and is it true that he punched you in the eye and the story about the airplane, the drink, and all that? He'll get a kick on it, but it's got to be all in the tank.
Cool.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Of course, you know he's a big superstar now in this business, right?
Right.
And that's why I knew him. So I'll say maybe somewhere when I met him in 90 or 89 or whatever, he was already been a WWF superstar. He's been a big Japanese superstar, and we had been friends for a couple of years. And we were riding down this road together one night, I guess working for Vince. He says, you don't remember me, do you? I said, what do you mean? I said, I remember you. You're Bam Bam Bigelow. You're a big superstar in the business. Of course I remember you. He says, no, you don't remember me, do you? So what are you talking about? He says, 1981 or 82, I came up to you in West Palm Beach Auditorium and asked you how I could get into the business. And you were real nice to me. You treated me. You said it's really hard. Usually when somebody comes up to me like that and they were heavy or out of shape or a mark or didn't have a clue or goofy, I would say, hey, you want to be a wrestler? You ain't got to go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. Because he was really kayfabe protecting the business back then. But for some reason, I was real respectful and said, look, it's really hard. There's a school, Matsuda's the only one I know, and that's basically what I can tell you, but good luck. And I treated him like a king. He said he never forgot it. It's lucky I didn't spit at him. Like, you know, hey, you piece of fat shit, pooey. Hey, you remember me? You spit at me, you motherfucker? I never spit on you. Same thing with Scotty Raven. In that building, but he was I wanted to kick his ass, get his ass kicked. He was in college, a little fucker.
He was a college center?
Yeah, well, his dad lives there and was one of the big editors or had something to do with Enquirer magazine.
Right.
A wealthy family Scotty comes from.
That's what I heard.
So, and he's real intelligent, Scotty, about a lot of things and high IQ and he's little nuts and makes bad decisions sometimes. Of course, we all do. But anyway, he told me he was in college. But anyway, here's this kid. I'm walking back from the ring. Now, Barry Windham's our superstar back then. He
Right.
said, hey. And I stopped for a second because I was curious. And we said, hey, I can do any of that shit. He's a piece of shit. I can do all that shit. I want to be a wrestler. Fuck you. And all that shit. I said, oh, yeah, you want to be a wrestler, you little piece of shit? So, come on. I was trying to get him into the dressing room. So I was walking backwards. Once I got him in the dressing room, that fucking guy should fuck him up, this little smart-ass motherfucker. but it was legitimate what I was doing because he was asking for it.
Right.
It was legitimate what he was doing. He was calling, but he knew better than to get in the dressing room. Kind of blew it off right there. We had the confrontation. We never... but he respects me now for what I did back then for protecting the business and trying to get on. Now, later on, does he remember? Yeah, he brought it up to me. I don't remember. You remember back in 1983, that was me. I said, you were that motherfucker? Now, we've been around, and Sonny Polo, we've been in Florida together, New York, Atlanta, and here.
Seems like everybody comes back to each other. Like, you can't burn bridges.
Right, that's a big thing.
Everybody knows each other.
That's a big thing. That's why I treat underneath guys the same, like Mikey Whipwreck. He's a nice kid. When I was the WWF superstar, we did a show, and I say that because it's so rare, but when I worked for New York, we did a show at Nassau Coliseum, and we used to stay at that Marriott right next to the Nassau Coliseum. And I guess I was the only one in the bar. Everybody else went, man, there was a bunch of fans in the bar. And in the lobby, young ones, old ones, rich ones, poor ones, mafia kids trying to buy me drugs and drinks and whatever I wanted. And a poor kid there barely had enough to get in to buy a ticket. And Mikey was in there. And I stopped and I bullshitted with about 10 fans out there. I signed a couple autographs. I thought I was a celebrity then, but I was the only one there that they could relate to the show with.
Right.
So they would grab me, and they were asking me questions, and Mikey was a big wrestling fan, so I put him over and talked to him, and now look what happens. So now I'm in the dressing room. Don't you remember me? I said, no. He said, and Nassau Coliseum at the Marriott, you treated me real good, and we bullshitted with us all. You gave a kid a jacket, this poor kid, I gave him a New York jacket or something.
Right.
So you never know who's going to be your next boss.
Right.
Like I tell you who's intelligent, but is starting to get a little bit of a clue is Joe Gertner right now. He's goofy, had a lot of heat on himself because he didn't know how to handle himself around the boys.
Right. Yeah, he does.
He's intelligent.
Right.
He's got high IQs.
Right.
But he didn't know how to handle himself. He got a lot of heat for some reason. Nobody liked him. You know?
Right.
And he always, and I used to talk to him because I like everybody. I don't dislike anybody because you never know, not that I did it for future reference, but I like everybody. But if I would have treated them like shit and spit at them or tell them, go fuck yourself, learn the business yourself, I try to help them a little bit. So you better watch out and don't say this. You idiot, Joe, you can't fucking, pay attention, do the right thing. So he'll remember that because he's the type of guy, he's smart enough to stay in his company for a while, make good money, and if he ever gets a job or offer to go to another company, he's got the brains to do it.
Right.
So he could be in Eric Bischoff's spot. It won't happen, but he could be in Eric Bischoff's spot in 7 years or 10 years. Because Eric got coached with the guys too.
Right.
You never know. So he could be my boss in 10 years. You don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I'll get that old Fonzie job. I remember he was real nice to me, but Fonzie's asking for a job. I'm the boss. Fuck him. We'll tell him to go work for somebody else. So you never know who's going to be your next boss in this business.
Right.
Never thought the guy who I told to go get a suit and a cell phone to be my boss, and I'm going to be on his main event pay-per-view. Never had a clue for whenever that happened in the early 80s. Never had a clue. I'm sitting here with you guys. I'm having a good time. You guys can have graduate and become wealthy beyond my wildest dreams and your wildest dreams just by starting off with wrestling and then getting into other sports and hockey and baseball and football. You guys can be fucking millionaires in 10 years.
Right.
And then you always gonna remember me. Oh, Fonzie came and did my interview for X amount to give me a break. We had a pizza. It was always nice to me. I'm always nice to you guys.
Yeah,
pretty
definitely.
much. And
Absolutely.
And I'm always kind of never taking advantage of anybody. That's just good karma in life because what goes around comes around.
Right.
I'm not here to preach about fucking life, but it's basically kind of clean living. I do enough sins in my life, bad things to worry about than being treating people bad.
Right.
Fuck. And who else can we talk about?
Harley race? Do you have any Harley race stories?
How can Harley race? Boy, what a classic.
His wife was just on Oprah Winfrey.
She sure was. I seen her.
Yeah, you saw it?
Abusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Showed a picture of Harley.
Yeah.
I heard he's all messed up.
Right from the boating or something.
From I don't know. From
Bumps
taking
and
so many bumps and all kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I used to ride with him a lot, just like Ric Flair. You know, when the champ came in, hey, Fonz, you want to ride with me? Plus it'd be free trans and all that all week, and they'd buy my hamburgers and bullshit. And oh, let's see. Story about him. Yeah, remember that bar I was talking about, Papa's, every Tuesday night?
Right,
Remember,
Tuesday night bar in Florida?
Western,
Right.
and all the boys would go to it, race hell, and would be celebrities there and get special treatment, and good or wrong. So, Harley Race seen this guy heckling, I forgot who it was. It was underneath guy, and not a real big, strong guy, just a little worker. Like, let's use a Mikey Whipwreck, for example. Mikey Whipwreck, I mean, was Mikey talented and he can work, but he's not the toughest guy in the dressing room,
Right.
right? So back of his eye, Harley Race sees this guy, these two redneck guys, big country, chewing tobacco motherfuckers, giving this kid a lot of shit. And the kid was backing off and doing the right thing and saying, yeah, I'll just relax, you know. So Harley Race seen the two guys follow the kid into the bathroom, and he knew he was going to go in there and they were going to kick this kid's ass. That's what they were rednecks. So Harley followed him into, turned the lights. The two guys turned around. They said, "Oh, hey, Harley," and Harley turned off the lights as he said that. Because I was right outside. Harley said, "Fonz, don't let anybody in for about 10 seconds." I said, "Okay." I didn't know exactly what he was doing. I didn't know the whole story until after.
Right.
Because I didn't know nothing about the kid, nothing about the two guys. So I see the lights go out because you can see the blackness under the door thing.
On the floor.
Boom, black, and all you hear is, boom, bam, bam. The lights come back on, and Harley and the kid walk out. I forgot who it was, Mike, Dave, somebody young like that. And said, "Don't go in there." And then we all went back to our place, and nobody knew actually what was going on. Nobody tried to enter the bathroom.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see a bunch of people running in there 10 minutes later, and these guys all fucked up.
Anything on Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan, gave me a blank check and said, "Fill it out, whatever you want."
Are you serious? For what?
Yeah. Remember, I was on the pilot on Thunder in Paradise.
Oh, that's right. You did Thunder in Paradise.
Right. So, they wanted the Giant to do the pilot on Thunder in Paradise, and we did it right in St. Pete, Florida, at the Don Cesar, all in that area. Before they bought it, then they went to episodes, and they did it at the Disney MGM. So Hogan told Vince, "I want the Giant to come down because I got him in my movie."
Right.
And Ed Hogan knows that I was with a Giant, and I want Fonzie and Giant and Vince said, "Well, I'm not going to pay Fonzie for going down there to do your movie. You're going to have to pay him." Hogan said, "Not a problem." So we got all that worked out. So we get down there, and the first day in the set, I never discussed no money with anybody because I know I'm going to be taken care of. So Hogan says, "Fine, so we need to talk about what I'm going to pay you." And before that, Jimmy Hart was being the negative one, saying, "Want a budget here, Fonz?" Now, Hogan doesn't even know that Jimmy Hart's talking to me. "So, for Fonzie, want a budget here?" Now, Jimmy talking. It's like that in real life. That's how he talks. He's really excited.
Right.
He doesn't, no drugs, no coffee, no
He just
pills, no alcohol, no nothing.
Yeah.
No cigarette, nothing. "Well, Fonzie wanted a budget. And, I know Hulk's going to ask you. He's going to ask you how much you want now. You got to do it right." I said, "Okay, Jimmy." So now Hogan comes up to me and says, "We're bullshitting. We're at the bar. We're sitting with Hogan, his co-stars,
right.
we're sitting there. He's what's his name, son? Oh, this guy's a genius. Anyway, long story short, he says, Fonz, what do I need to pay you? No hesitation. He said, I said, I don't know, whatever you want. He said, well, what does Vince pay you? I said, well, I could make $1,000 at the Gardens, or I can make $300 at somewhere else. You know, but it's $300 is the least I'd ever make. You know, so I mean, and I said, but I know we're on a budget here, and we are.
Right.
And now he's paying me out of his personal checking account. Not the movie people are paying me because I'm not actually in the movie. I'm just on the set taking care of. There's a lot of wrestlers on the set. I'm just taking care of my giant.
Right.
Had the big suite and the whole 9 yards, and the food. I was right in there with Carol all at the whole 9 yards. So we worked out a deal where he said, "I'll just give you a check, and you whatever. We're gonna be here for 4 weeks, and every week I'll give you a blank check, and whatever you want, you write it out."
Wow.
So I ended up writing myself a check out every week for $1,400. I said, the least I'll make with Vince is $300 for the show. That was my guarantee. And they're paying. I can go home anyway. I'm only 45 minutes from my house. It's paid for, but I had a suite. They were feeding me 3 meals a day.
Stay for a whole month up there?
Yeah.
Wow.
In a fucking big fucking Don Cesar's, one of the nicest exclusive hotels on the beach. So it's not taking advantage of the guy. I wrote him. I took off $100 from my least amount of pay that I would make. So I was happy with that.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. What was it like working on that movie?
It was fun. We had a ball. We got to meet, got to see how it's done. It was my first. Actually, I was on the set of Swamp Thing too. Remember when Swamp Thing became a series?
Yeah.
That the Giant, and Diesel was on there. They called the Atlanta office and said, we need 2 big tall guys, and Diesel and the Giant were the 2 where they sat down there. Of course, I had to go with the Giant. So I was on that.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
The Thunder in Paradise was great. Got to meet all the stars and bullshit and producers and made some connections and made money and had a ball. Well, it was a part of basically a little bit of history there.
Yeah.
Didn't catch on fire, but they did good, and it's still on.
Right. Anything about Randy Savage?
Oh yeah, Randy Savage. I never met Randy until I got to New York, I guess. We just had never crossed paths. He never came to Florida. He was already gone to Tennessee and all that. Was already a big star like that. But just clicked right with Randy because, you know, I mean, he didn't know so much of me, but he knew who I was. And, you know, I worked for Florida for 20 years. Everybody knows who was a referee. Yeah. So we clicked and we got along real good. But I don't have any real good stories about Randy.
Von Erich's, Curry Von Erich?
Yeah, the story I got about Randy, I know he saved his money and wasn't real wasteful with his money and got a lot of money saved. And I like that.
Yeah.
The Von Erichs, yeah.
Crazy stories, Curry, Kevin?
David wrestled in Florida. I met all of them because when I went to Texas with my brother in the late 70s, we worked for the Von Erichs.
Right.
But they were way above us. We were just breaking in green, and they already been superstars when they were 3 years old. So, just wild kids, wild guys, and they all could work. And not a lot of stories about those guys.
Nah.
No, because I didn't hang with them, and they're already dead and gone before you knew it. You know what I mean? And,
Hey, Buzz Sawyer stories? I heard he was crazy.
yeah, Buzz was from St. Pete. I worked with him a lot. I'm on some of those tapes that you just showed me. Fucking what a bad memory he had. I mean, he was like, remember I told you like Flair would leave his shampoo bottles and all that shit to buy new ones. This guy just had no clue. You know what I mean? It's like out there. What a great guy. I worked with his brother once in a while in Florida, Brett Sawyer. He's got like a wrestling school, and he runs some little independent shows around there.
Right.
And I worked one, since I've been with ECW, I worked one, which Paulie doesn't know about, but it doesn't matter. It was just a little local show, and I did him a favor, actually. Actually, I didn't even take a check from him. I told, because he was only paying me $40. He said, we're going to have a good thing. I'll guarantee you 75. It was right down the street from my house.
Right.
And I said, I'll do you a favor. So I took my cousin with me, Julio Cesar Valentino Alfonso,
Right.
so because he refereed for AWF
Was
and all
that
that.
just a one-time deal with the CW, or did
Yeah.
Paul didn't like it? Or?
No, one time it was a favor for me, and I brought him up, and I said, we can use him. He's here.
Right.
Hey, why not? Boom, boom, whack, whack, whack.
Right,
And it
right.
kind of worked out. And it didn't hurt nobody. Because Paulie, he came here to eat a Philly cheesesteak
Right.
and bullshit.
Right.
And who knows? I mean,
I thought it was gonna. I don't know.
yeah,
I thought
people thought. So it's on the back. Paulie's
Right.
got in the back of his mind. What if
Right.
I get killed? He can come and take my place.
Who knows?
So I worked a couple of those shows, but not too many stories about Buzz.
Stan Hansen. Any Stan Hansen stories?
Yeah, he's blind, and he used to be stiff and clothesline the guy and say, "Oh, I don't have my glasses on."
I always heard that.
Worked with him in the WCW. Used to swing the cowbell around, make everybody take a pout out of the ring. Nice guy. I worked with him quite a few times, but no good stories about him because I never rode with him or
Right.
didn't really relate to him. And he was in his own things. Japanese, coming
Right.
making some money. He was real money conscious, and
You recently did stuff with Missy Hyatt too, right? Missy in ECW.
I did stuff with Missy.
Didn't you and who was it? You and Taz.
Oh yeah,
Same man.
yeah, and Todd.
Right. Oh, wasn't Missy Hyatt involved? Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Missy came up. I choked her out
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
times. Yeah,
A little time.
Missy and I go way back to WCW.
Right. Right.
We became friends back then. I like a lot of people don't like her because she's a bitch and she's too bossy, she's too demanding, and she's too sexy, and she's too hoary.
Right.
But I always get along like Vince, like the same relationship with me and Vince. But you know, people don't like Vince. I
Right.
love Vince.
Right.
People don't like Missy. I like Missy. We
Right.
get along. Everybody has their own things. She's got a picture of me pissing out a window.
Any good Kevin Sullivan stories?
Oh, the devil! I travel with him most. Well, I can't remember right off the bat. There's 100 good stories with Kevin Sullivan, but
Alright.
I just can't come up with no good stories right now. But I will on the next tape or something.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. What about Arn Anderson?
Double A,
Yeah.
just an all-around great guy. I've worked with him for years and years, from Jim Crockett all the way to TBS, and classy guy. Hell of a worker. He's had a good spot, huh?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what
Been on
about?
top for a long time.
Yeah. And I don't know if he's made the big money like those other guys, like Sting, you know, makes that 750 and the I bet he's made the 250s and that, but I don't know if he's made that real big
Right,
money, but he's been in that big spot.
Right.
Right.
A long
I
time.
don't know how they determine who makes what.
Right.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. And this business is tough, man. They can turn you off like that,
Right.
turn you on like that. Somebody's making $600,000 doesn't deserve it, and another guy making $100,000 that deserves twice as much.
It's crazy.
It's political as shit. I like that about this office. It's not like that.
Right.
I mean, you earn your way here. It's basically like back to the old school, but an upbeat. This reminds me of the old Florida days. Like you're selling those tapes now that are doing real well.
Right.
With Dusty and all that old storyline and the Kevin Sullivans, the 1, 2, 3, and now you're out to issue 4 that I like the best. It's kind of it's basically a spin-off of that, but an upscale, a more Howard Stern, a
Yeah.
more hardcore
MTV.
audience, a little MTV-ish, a little update, a little upbeat, with the same storyline, and it's amazing that it's real
Yeah.
similar. And Paulie's doesn't make everybody's pay his dues, but everybody's got a place.
Right.
Like Joe Gertner will say, you know what I mean? He's paying his dues now. He's an intelligent kid. His kid could be anything he wants, but he wants to be in a fucking business.
Right.
And Paulie's not going to let him just because he's intelligent. He's a nice Jewish kid. He comes from a family. He's a friend. He's not going to let him in and give him a green light and go ahead and be an asshole.
Right. Right.
He's going to make him drive 200 miles for $60, or
Right.
I don't know what he makes. He might make $300, but he's going to make him pay his dues. He's not going to walk in our dressing room. Nobody is.
Right. Right.
No, it's different if Terry Funk walks in our dressing room. He's paid his dues.
Right. Right.
But it's different. Like Bubba and all those guys that are just screen now and learning and getting a break and getting pushed. They're paying their dues here. I don't think that they're not humble, because these guys are.
Were you in WCW during the Bill Watts era?
I was at when Watts came in. Me and the Giant went to New York.
Oh, so you really weren't there.
Right.
What about Jim Hurd? Were you there? With Jim
Yep,
Hurd?
I was there with Jim Hurd.
We talked about that.
We talked about that. I wasn't really. Jim was in the office.
Yeah.
And the office was the office, and the road boys were the roads. We had our agents and bookers, so he was like, just, you can get a paycheck for doing that. I don't know what he did, actually.
Any good Undertaker stories? Because I know that's who you guys worked with when you were in Titans.
I went out with the Undertaker, and we went to a strip club somewhere. Where's the Baseball Hall of Fame thing?
Canton, Ohio?
Cooperstown.
Okay, we were right in that area right there. We're doing some run, like a 6-day run there, and we were tired and all that shit. We at the hotel, and Mark didn't have anybody to go out with. Everybody was doing something, and Mark was in the main event, worked late, and whatever. We ended up going out together, and this bar owner of a strip club invited Mark down to come to his club, drinks on the house, food, whatever you want. Come down, and Mark, I was tired. I wanted to go to the room. He said, come on with me. So we ended up going to the bar, and we were drinking. He wasn't drinking so much. I guess the owner brought us some stuff that was like 100 proof with gold dust inside or some shit. We were drinking and stuff. I got hammered, and he was signing autographs, and I was at the table, like, leaned over like this. He was holding me up on my forehead like this, signing autographs like this, and then carried me to the car. Not a lot of real good stories, but that's a poor story.
It's funny. I don't know what else to ask.
Yeah. I don't know off the top of my head.
Some of my favorite matches.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ric Flair, Barry Windham because they were classics. Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan because they were fun. They were showbiz. They were some of my favorite stuff was remember when Dusty would get the 4 Horsemen and then J.J. Dillon, right? Was part of the 4 Horsemen.
Right.
He'd have all 4 Horsemen in the middle of the ring, giving them the big elbows like this, bouncing up and down, and then JJ would jump up on the apron, and he would take one too and do his straddle through the ropes. Some classic stuff, man. That was entertainment at its best. Sports entertainment. I used to get so mad when I started in the business and learn how to really respect the business, and they used to do. The old timers used to get real radical. I'm like, be careful and don't say anything. And we were on exposure.
Right.
And I used to be all that. Somebody come to me and say, oh, hey, his wrestling's fake. And I used to get offended and want to fight him. Why not? I want to kill the guy.
Now,
hey, fuck you. This wrestling is real.
Right.
I don't know, it's sports entertainment, you know. I'm not going to sit there and make you try it. If you don't believe it, don't believe it. I don't care.
Right.
It's as real as you want it to be. I used to answer, well, if you want it to be real, it's real. If you don't, it's not. I mean, we're sports entertainment. This isn't a marquee.
What do you think about Pee Wee, the referee Pee Wee? He's got
Or Pee Wee?
Little Pee Wee. John Pee Wee. More.
The kid that works with us.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be. I told him the first time I seen him, I said, there I am 20 years ago. You watch the old Florida tape of me, and you watch him now?
Right.
I said, I felt like I didn't want the tapes that you gave me to watch. I said, watch this tape, maybe a little earlier, and he couldn't believe it that we have so many moves that's so much alike, because I like the kid.
He's
real humble, real smart to the business. He's not so smart where he's going to say, hey, I think you guys need to do this. I'm not going to tell Sabu that or Sandman or something, but he might tell Mikey Whipwreck or say, hey, you guys, yeah, I've seen this. And he's an intelligent kid. Spent years, he's just intelligent and humble. I think he's got I like to see Pee Wee get a 5-year run in one of the big two, unless we can maintain, and what I think we are,
grow
and stay here and have a position here forever. But I like to see Pee Wee make a run like I had to make up 80 grand, 100 grand a year, refereeing and seeing the world and doing what you love to do.
Right.
Fabulous. I wish you get nothing but good luck.
What about Shane Douglas?
Shane, I met him in Atlanta. Talented. I think he's got one of the best promos in the business. Real good guy. Always been up with me. Some guys don't like him. Some guys do. He's gonna be in this business for a short while because he's gonna be a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
You know, but he's real dedicated to the business. See him go out there time after time, take those big bumps, and he's hurt. To go lay down in the dressing room right after his match. Oh, like that, and get up and do it again.
Right.
Incredible guy. Nice guy. I like Shane.
Rick Rude.
We talked about Rick a little bit. I met him in Florida, and Rick's talented motherfucker. Talented. Did you guys know he was a national arm wrestling champion
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff and all that? So was his sister.
His sister?
Sister was too in the women's division. Bam, for sure was. He had like double tendons. Real strong guy.
Oh, wow.
Real strong.
What about Ricky Steamboat?
Ricky Steamboat worked with him in Mid-Atlantic. Came down to here, to Florida and done some stuff. He used to take up with Jay Youngblood back in the Mid-Atlantic days. And you know Jay, did you know Jay Youngblood or heard of him?
Oh, yeah, I know
Yeah.
what he is.
Oh
but I
yeah,
never-
they had that one with Slaughter and Canoodle.
Right, yeah, that's some good old stuff.
Yeah.
Jay passed away in Australia. I'm having to do his spleen or something. And his brother still wrestles.
Two of them, Mark and Chris.
Right.
Yeah, in
Right.
Japan.
Yeah, a bunch of talented guys, man. There's so many guys that we've met, that I've met. I've met more guys. Almost everybody has passed through Florida
Right.
when I was there. That's the guys are still around. And then I went to Atlanta, and Mid-Atlantic, and New York. Then I met everybody in the business.
That's awesome.
Everybody. There's not too many guys that I haven't met.
What about Wahoo McDaniel? I know you probably run.
Wahoo gave me. I showed. I got stitched up by him, and
We talked about all these guys. Where were you?
Getting
he's not
pizza.
getting the pizza.
Yeah, they're getting the pizza.
He was running on a list, but Wahoo's a great guy. I heard he's having a little health problems now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sit that in the sheets or something.
He's sick, maybe with his heart. Or
It's
something.
hard, yeah.
What about Playboy Buddy Rose?
Huh.
Yeah, Matt Playboy Buddy Rose came down to Florida.
He did the program with Tyree Pride, I think. Yeah.
Hell of a talent too. Hell of a mic work. And he was lucky. He got his little push in New York. Did he have a good run in New York?
Not really. When he first was
He
there,
still made money.
Shirley Martel and all that.
Before wrestling really hit
Yeah.
big in the 80s, right before that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was in. Well, he had a good push. Was
Portland.
Portland, yeah.
Yeah, with Scotty.
Yeah.
With Scotty ran Portland.
What's a minute left?
How much time left? 10 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes.
Okay. What do we want to wind this stuff up with?
What's the most impressive thing you've ever seen? Like, where you
Or even
just
some
go,
of the most impressive.
like, oh my god.
Some of the stuff here.
How would you ever take this?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff here. The chair abuse,
Oof.
the abuse on the bodies, the flipping through the tables. I mean, that's impressive, but also impresses me is to see two men go 60 minutes wrestling hard like Dory Funk and Jack Briscoe. That's impressive too, but in a different way, you know. And then, I mean, 60 minutes is a long time to go. I mean, even though they grab a wrestle or
Right.
whatever, but still, I mean, if me and you got up right now and had a fight for
Right.
5 minutes, would
It'd
be
be blown up.
blown up big time. I mean, a lot of stuff, but a lot of crazy stuff impressive is here. ECW is real impressive.
Do you think it's time for them to go on pay-per-view, or?
Oh yeah, I think it's right timing. Even if even if we get to first base with this pay per view, I think I'll be real happy.
Yeah.
You know, if we hit a home run, which is way beyond the match, but if we get to first base, we just get our foot in the door and let them know we're out there. I think that's a good step.
You think the other two are scared?
I don't think they're scared. I think they're now aware of what capabilities we have. I don't think there's anybody scared. You know, I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and we're just a $1 million company right now. I think pound for pound, we're just as powerful as any of those, pound for pound.
Right.
We don't have the money, we don't have Ted Turner, we don't have Vince McMahon, but we still put out a hell of a product.
Yeah.
When I say we, the company,
Right.
I really don't have anything to do with it except my character, and I have a lot of stuff that I wouldn't mind getting. See, I got longevity here because I can get into the office, and I've booked, I've been assistant, I've been around all the business, so I have endless
your resume samples, basically.
Right, and Paulie and Heyman knows that, and he's mentioned to me before that I have a job here as long as he's here.
That's awesome.
He's told me that point blank several times. I make him repeat it every now and then to keep my confidence up.
Right.
If I feel a little intimidated, or if I feel a little insecure or something, which I haven't, but I do once in a while. And I say, "How's my position? I'm getting ready to buy a Porsche. Don't worry, funds you're in as long as I'm here." And I'm gonna hold him to that too. And he's serious because he knows what I can do. I can be an asset to the company. I would never be a burden.
Right. Have you ever seen anything in ECW so far where you thought, wow, they've gone over the line?
No.
Nothing?
Not for the audience.
No.
Not for who we doing it for.
Right.
No, some of the other people think we're going too far because the Sandman thing, the crucified.
Right.
Some people don't like his son getting in the ring. And I think that's all fine. It's we're all audience is different. The Howard Stern thing goes back to, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Some people don't like it because they're waiting for us to make mistakes.
Right.
Like I talked to Kevin Sullivan shortly after Tyler, Sandman's kid, got involved in the thing. And he says, Fonzie, that's too far. Don't you think it's too much to have the kid in there and all this shit?
They just did it.
I said, no.
Right.
Yeah, they done it with Pipers.
Yeah.
It's not in the same capacity, but I said, no, I don't think it's. They just give them something to downplay us.
Right.
Every time I talk to Kevin, he kind of cuts us down a little bit because it's not that he's insecure or scared but he's just on a different level now. He doesn't remember that he was just here and Paulie's only guy to give him a job.
Right. He was.
He actually remembers all that, and I don't mean to talk. I'm not talking bad about Kevin, but
What's he? Is he
he's just not here.
Booker over there now?
He's powerful there.
I heard he's really powerful now.
Yeah, he's got a good spot there. He deserves it. Kevin's intelligent.
What's he do? Book or?
He's office coordinator, books and that. I guess it's like a committee.
Right,
There. He's in a
committee.
committee, and I guess Eric and Hogan probably does his own stuff. There's like 4 or 5 bookers in
Right.
there. It takes him more than one mind. Here, Paul, he doesn't do it all by himself. Ty
Right.
Gore's a real big part of this office, more than we think he is. I mean, they make a great team. I don't think Paulie does 70% of this stuff without getting Todd's opinion on it. I think that's what, as far as I can see. But until Tommy Dreamer, and it's a ball. I like about Paulie. It kind of reminds me of Dusty. It's a team player. We're a ball team. We got to play together.
Right.
And Paulie's got so many. Not that everybody here has big heads, but there's guys here with egos, dude.
I know.
You know what I mean? I mean, everybody. Sandman's got an ego. Raven's got an ego. I got a little ego. But Taz has got a big ego. He's got to be diplomatic and work with 40 different fucking personalities.
Right.
He's got to be pretty smart to handle all that stuff, and handle the promotion, and handle the commissioners, and handle this guy, and the money, and this, and
Right.
that. It's tough. And the TVs. He's got the toughest job of them all, and he's doing great. Congratulations to him. I was so happy for him when he announced the pay-per-view. And every time I come up here, when I leave, I never leave the dressing room, ever, without telling Paulie, thank you very much for bringing me up. I appreciate your bringing me up to your company every fucking time. Why not?
Right.
I do. I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me up. I mean, he flies me a round trip. He pays me. He pays my own. I mean, I got a cakewalk job.
Right.
And maybe I deserve it, maybe I don't, but I'll never forget him.
Cool.
And it doesn't cost you much to be a little humble.
I know what you're saying.
Right.
I guess I don't know.
Wrap
Guess
it
that
up.
Wraps it up.
We'll wrap this thing up, and
Yeah.
we'll do it again sometime.
I'd like to
Yeah.
thank
Yep.
you. for
Thank
coming
you.
out.
Thank you very
I had a
much.
ball,
So did we.
and I'm looking forward to looking at the tape and see what kind of response we get to it. If you like it, if you have any questions, I think Rob, I think these guys are going to put something together where if you guys have any questions, you can write them in or we'll answer them somehow. If you got any old stuff you ever want to hear about one of your old favorite wrestlers or any Florida stuff, or it's got to be stuff that I know about. So, but looking forward to doing that. Let's see if we can have some type of relationship and make everybody happy.
Definitely.
Because I'm a big fan. I'm a bigger fan than you guys, believe me, of this business.
Definitely.
If bootleggers sell this tape interview, we'll have Taz get them.
That's a promise. I mean, we're not trying to get rich here, but we're just trying to make everybody happy and keep doing this. And bootleggers are been around for years and years. I heard there's a lot of fucking bootleggers in Japan selling our ECW stuff, which is bullshit, man. We should reek that. We're working so hard for this, but that's how it is. It's a black market. I mean, it's always been like that. So,
Well, best of luck on the pay-per-view.
thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Hopefully, talk to you before the pay-per-view.
Definitely.
Yeah, we definitely will.
All right.
April 13th.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.